Disclaimer. The content presented in this show is intended for entertainment purposes only. All opinions expressed are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of any individuals or organizations mentioned. Statements made about public figures or entities are based on publicly available information and are not intended to harm or defame any person or business. This show relies on fair use of social media posts, which are presented in good faith for the purpose of commentary and criticism. Viewers and listeners are advised to form their own opinions.
Circle Back, part of the Hammer Betting Network, and presented as always by Underdog. I am Rob Pizzola. To my left, Kirk Evans. To his left, Geoff Fienberg, rocking that Masters green jacket.
It's a good time of year.
Gold jacket, green jacket, who gives a shit? You looking forward to Happy Gilmore too?
No.
No, neither am I.
It will be horrible.
Yeah, guaranteed. And it seemed like they made it like on a fly.
I know.
Like it seems like the whole thing was like rushed.
Yeah. And I'm gonna watch it obviously when
It's
it comes
fine.
to
I'm paying for Netflix.
Yeah. Well, of course.
Even if it's like a bad 90 minutes, like the floor could only be so bad, but my expectations are zero, so it could actually impress me.
Yep. I mean, sometimes going into it with zero expectations is actually better than having high expectations. Jacob, the Giant Gramegna, is producing today. We have a jam-packed show. Of course, this is the show where we review the week that was on gambling Twitter, and it was a very eventful week, as you can see in the rundown. We'll start it off with some college hoops. Jacob, lead us in here.
Well, everyone saw this, but it was a pretty brutal collapse by Duke overall in the semifinals of the NCAA tournament. They were up big. They were up 10 in the second half. And then in the late stages of the game, they were up by, it was 67-61 with like seconds remaining in the game. So people were victory lapping it before the game even ended. And then Duke haters got their wish because I think Duke has to be one of the most hated sports teams in all sports, professional and at the amateur level for NCAA. So all-time collapse from an all-time hated team, which led to one of the best days on gambling Twitter. Starting off with people victory lapping early. Here is at BartBets over here, who said, if you're betting on Houston today, go call 1-800-GAMBLER because you simply don't know ball or know what you're doing. I have to say, there were a lot of tweets like this. It wasn't just BartBets who posted something like that. However, not many people said, pre-cashing this, going to bed. Love seeing everyone saying Houston was a good bet. And then there's dumb shit like Alex Caruso, who does a lot of dumb shit online. He said, DraftKings already has the script, posting a screenshot of the look-ahead line of Florida Duke in the national championship game. Even though, they post look-ahead lines for basically every possible finals matchup or championship game matchup. They do this for multiple sports, especially if in the semifinals a team is up big. People are engaged in the game, therefore are maybe going to bet something. It must be Christmas Day when it's like a semifinal or like a conference final because he gets to reuse this same tweet every single time this happens. And his followers, I'm sure, just absolutely eat this one up. There was Jay Croucher, who posted Duke Moneyline, the type of beat where you half expect to see the money in the account afterwards anyway, as none of that surely happened. I will never forgive any of the principal actors in that cataclysm. Jay Croucher, sharp bettor, who's we've seen on Forward Progress in the past, so appeared to have a little bit of money on Duke in this one. But rest of the tweets here, we had, again, people who love hating on Duke. Dave Portnoy of Barstool said, that has to go down one of the greatest chokes in the history of sports. Congrats, Duke. You will always be remembered as choking dog losers. and this White Lotus photo of the one of the main characters, the father. I forget his name now, but
Timothy, I want to say.
I think so. But I don't listen. If you haven't seen the show, I'm sorry. We're gonna spoil it here. Not the finale, but wore a lot of Duke gear and was thinking about killing himself. And pointed a gun at his head at one point, and he's wearing a Duke shirt. So soon as that episode came out, everybody had the ammo and said, Duke better not lose this one. And they ended up losing before the championship game. So everyone had that one ready. Even Shady Beeve got in on the fun, saying, Dad, tell me about 2025 Duke Final Four collapse, with the video of Vince McMahon crying, kind of, cutting the neck. And the last one here. Well, actually, let's go to these first before we go to the last one here. But overall, the collapse. Did you guys catch the game?
Well, so I unfortunately did not. I caught it in pieces. So I was at a friend's bachelor dinner on Saturday night, and I was at STK in Yorkville here. We had like one of those circular half moon tables and I had the best view of the TVs. So I could see what was going on, but I wasn't really paying attention. And I actually didn't know that Duke lost this game. Like, I didn't know until the next, like, I woke up and I was like, what the hell is going on here? Because I was just following along in real time, and they seemed to be in control the entire time. And it's kind of upsetting. Listen, whatever, it's a friend. I'm going to, like, always go to, bachelor party dinner or whatever. But I do love to be online when stuff like this happens. And missing that, it's kind of weird and sad to say. It's like Rob touch grass or whatever, like, get outside, get some air. But you only get like so many of those over the course of a one. I'm trying to think of like the last one where everyone was just going nuts on Twitter simultaneously.
I could think of one.
28-3 obviously comes to mind, but
not
be more recent.
It's not really sports, but it's happens, and it did involve a lot of betting, because I know thumb was smashing that night. Would have been the Biden debate. That was like for
lots
Twitter,
of great memes.
It was almost like sporting, like in terms of like Twitter and it just being this reactionary thing. But I was just trying to think of like a communal Twitter. Usually at Super Bowl party, you're at a party,
right? Well, it's also
you almost don't want to be, even if you're not at a party, you almost don't want to be the guy tweeting through the Super Bowl. Like, that's a bad
that's what I'm saying.
Itself.
Like, Super Bowl, I'm almost not online at all during the Super Bowl. I don't see the reactions in real time. This is a type of thing on a Saturday night. Most people are watching this game. It's like the big thing happening, and when shit starts to go off the rails and you're like, oh, this could actually be happening, I like to check in real time. I always have, because, I mean, I think back to when I was younger, when we worked at the Score back in the day, like 2008, 2009, we didn't have social media. So something like this happened, I had to sit on my thoughts for like the entire night. We'd show up to work next day, we'd all talk about it for half an hour, then we would move on. Now you can like live it out in real time. You get it's like all these reactions at once. I'm seeing the stuff now. I wish I could have been there in real time. Would have had a great laugh. I also can't stand Duke basketball, so that would have been like a contributing factor to me being able to enjoy this moment even more.
I was asleep. It was like 11:45. Yeah. I remember 5.5 minutes left, up 9. That's what I like remember. And the next thing.
You pre-cashing so this
watching.
One.
You were watching.
I was watching. I fell asleep. The game went late. I got 3 young kids. I didn't make it. I didn't have enough action or any action on the game to like hold me up, and I didn't make it. I was shocked. I saw that score the next morning, and yeah, I was shocked.
I definitely had some money on Duke, but nothing serious enough that like when it started to turn, it was like, it's so fun that this collapse is happening that like, okay, I'm starting to cheer for Houston now, even though it was obviously like I was cheering for Duke the whole game.
Yeah.
But then when the collapse, it was like, wow, this is insane.
I would never be able to do that. But after the fact, if I had money on a team that's like easy to hate, or like sometimes you don't mind the world teaming up on them, it's like, oh, I did lose that money and that sucks, and rather the money. But like there is some small joy in it being them.
I that's why I'm like, they forgot how to play basketball. Like a team forgot, like, and when you don't like that team, that's amazing stuff to go through in real time. Like
apparently this Duke team though, and I say this like knowing nothing but just watching and listening to stuff, was like way less hateable than some of like the Duke teams of years past. Maybe that's a Coach K thing. Maybe they didn't have like that annoying, like hyper annoying little white guy or big white guy.
Yeah.
Apparently this team, like was tough for college basketball people who do hate Duke because it actually was a very likable group.
For me, it just comes down to, as a sports fan, as someone who just grew up watching sports, loves sports, I like to see things in the moment when they happen. Like, I remember specifically where I was at and what I was doing for big events throughout history. It's Masters Week. Danny Willett Masters. Jordan Spieth completely pissing the bed. I'll never forget where I was that day. I was at a Blue Jays game in the afternoon. I left. I caught the rest of it at Real Sports with a group of people watching this. Like, I lived through that.
When the second ball went,
it's not the same afterwards.
When the second ball went in the water, I got naked. My body was so hot, like it was steaming. But like the temperature, like it was, yeah.
So for me to like relive this after the fact, it kind of depresses me a little bit. It's like I didn't experience it live. I can't say that I did, and I mean, I don't know. It just like stuff like that bothers me. I just never want to miss a big thing that happens in the sporting world. I don't know if I can, relay that any better. So covering this actually now bothers me a little bit. Although I see tweets like this, pre-cashing this, go to bed.
That's so funny.
How have people not learned about the pre-caching stuff yet?
What was the score? Like, what was going on? I'm not defending it. I'm not defending it.
They're up 10 in the fourth. Their win probability was probably comfortably above 80. It may have even been above 90%. They're up, I think it was 67-61 with like 30 seconds left.
The weird part about that
45
tweet,
seconds left.
The weird part about that tweet is like it was never that comfortable where you would be going to bed at like a normal time. Because if you're watching, like the real collapse was 30 seconds. So it's not like you're tweeting that with 30 seconds left in the game, being like, oh, I'm pre-caching, go to bed.
I'm going to bed.
So like he probably tweeted that in the second half with 10 minutes
But he
left,
wasn't
up
going to
7.
bed.
It's
just for clout because he wasn't
True,
going to bed.
true.
He wasn't
it also
going to
could just
bed.
be like
So
one of
right.
those arrogant, confident tweets where like you expected Duke to win before the game and now they look like they're going to win. You just convince yourself it's over.
It's also sometimes like you could post something like this, and if it does go south, you get engagement.
So,
you end up
Very
on a
true.
show.
People
Sure,
should
yeah.
report tweets like this. They should report it to Twitter and put the reason as like being a completed. Like if there should be suspensions handed out on Twitter for people pre-cashing bets.
The only animosity I have, I don't really have the animosity towards Duke that other people have. So I think the only shame about the collapse was that there was an absolutely brutal call that aided Houston in the comeback. Like Cooper Flag got called on a brutal loose ball foul on a rebound. And
I saw that one.
You could also argue whether loose ball fouls should count as stuff for the bonus, but maybe if you're like,
no, we shouldn't argue that,
Duke
Jacob.
haters,
We shouldn't argue. We shouldn't change the rules of basketball like they've always been to appease people who are like upset about a 50-50 call.
Sure, but
Like, it was a bad
anyway,
call.
That's a much larger conversation. Anyways, but if you're the larger your animosity towards Duke, the more you enjoy that a bad call also screwed them in the result of this game a little bit. But beyond that, they gave up some bad buckets. They turned the ball over on an inbound, which was horrific as well. So there was a lot more to it than just that.
The
Free
bad
throws.
call stuff kills me. Like, by that point, they'd already collapsed. They were up 1. The guy Proctor bricks a free throw on the front end of a bonus, and Houston was getting the ball down 1 with 35 seconds left. Like, the fucking over the back call. Like, okay, obviously it was a material call, but like, if that's what you're bitching about, you're a loser.
I swear,
I'm just saying.
No, I'm
like,
not saying
I'm just
you,
saying
but I'm saying
it would have been more enjoyable.
That was a like, I just never have that instinct unless it's like so brutal for the team I'm rooting for to go after the ref after a game. Like I just never understand that instinct.
Right.
I find it so annoying. Like, okay, if you're a Duke fan or you were cheering for Duke, how about you don't blow the lead, get a couple inbound passes in, don't break the free throw. If you're really bitching about the Cooper Flag over the back, like, you suck.
But this is how people consume modern day sports. Like, and again, I'm very dated. I sound like a boomer here every time I talk about this stuff, but you and Jacob are both significantly younger than me. And like when I was growing up watching sports, bad calls happen all the time, and we just never even really talked about them. Like there was a Super Bowl, it was Seahawks Steelers.
Gross.
It was thinking back on it now,
The worst job ever. Bill Levy's even apologized.
yeah, after the fact
Like
for how
20
bad.
years later, like I don't even want to hear that. That was as disgusting as not handing the ball off to Marshawn Lynch.
Sure, but in real
They got
time, it was
hosed.
nothing.
Not handing the ball off to Marshawn Lynch was the right decision.
Sure, whatever.
We can debate that another
I don't
day.
even care. I just mean like that was.
I don't know about that.
The Seahawks got so goddamn screwed that night. Super Bowl
agree.
40
but
in
we,
Detroit.
But like the discourse the next day on that Super Bowl had nothing to do
that's
with
because you
officiating.
had a preeminent franchise victorious.
And
But
you
I don't
didn't
think it
have
had
Twitter.
anything to do with that.
I
We didn't
think-
have
yes.
Twitter. Like literally everything.
If it was the
nowadays-
Steelers getting screwed, I'm telling you, it would have been a memorable
Sure.
Steelers got screwed.
Okay, fair enough. Different franchises and fan bases, I can somewhat buy that. But nowadays, everyone's betting on sports. Most people are losing betting on sports.
that
Guess
is-
who they want to blame? They want to blame anyone but themselves. So officiating
Unfortunately-
is under the microscope.
But unfortunately, or fortunately, you could say it's because of the betting and because they're in bed together with the betting that like they have no choice but to expand the replays as like much as they can. And like they have to find the line in like what's stomachable in terms of like slowing the pace and delaying the game.
Yeah.
But also expanding it to as wide a birthing hole as possible because gambling is so integrated and they're now league partners and team partners that it's got to be right. It's got to be seen.
I will say what made this even greater after the fact was knowing that Sean Perry lost $1.1 million. Although we don't ever really know.
I feel bad.
yeah, this
Sean
just
Perry's
seems fake to
mom.
me.
Yeah, it's true. His family
Sean Perry's
lost.
mom lost $1 million. Sean Perry's trust lost $1 million.
well-
when his parents die, that version of Sean Perry might have lost $1 million, but this version probably didn't lose $1 million.
Okay, so this is according to himself, so you kind of just have to take it for what it is. But he had $1 million on the line in a betting competition against @4C Predictions. It's an AI bot that made a bracket alongside Sean Perry. And the only real difference in the bracket was that the AI had Houston going to the final and Duke going to the final. So Sean Perry victory lapped it early, saying this is the freest million I've ever made. Ended up losing. But also apparently Sean Perry had a sizable bet on the game of $100,000 at Circa. So who knows if these bets are real, but
Well, the Circa ticket
Circa
was
bet
posted.
seemed
Circa
real.
ticket, sure,
Yeah.
but the $1 million against
Well-
the AI bot, I'm not sure if that's confirmed.
Like, is Sean Perry going to pay $1 million? And no one knows. I mean, anyone who's ever come across this guy talks about how he's a stiff and a deadbeat in some capacity. So who knows? There's lots of stuff that
He's gonna ask to fight you after this.
I'm not going to be interacting with Sean Perry after this. That 4C predictions so this is an AI that's generating a tournament bracket. It would be it's very unusual to me that the AI would have Houston beating Duke.
That's what I thought.
Like, that's a bad AI.
But none of what
Like, if you're
talking about
taking a
really makes
two-person-
much sense to me because yes, I thought that as well.
It's a
but-
two-person bracket.
But
You just
also,
pick every favorite.
You guys are saying like the bracket's the same. Like it was the same at the Final Four. Or just like
No, they basically it came down to this game.
it came down.
it
to
came
this
down
game,
to
but
this
obviously they had different picks.
Sure,
earlier.
yes.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. Yeah. you
Similar
would think
enough where
it would
this
make
was
no
the swing.
sense
Yes.
in a two-person bracket to have Houston.
Well,
That
he
would be-
tweeted it's the freest
but
million I
al-
ever made. It wasn't. This makes it even so much better,
Yeah.
honestly. Like, I don't like Duke basketball. I don't like Sean Perry. It's great. I do like Circa as a brand. So having them and he literally had to place that. Whoever is staking Sean Perry at this point, they really got to be like scratching their head. They got to be like, man, I don't think we're ever getting our money back from whatever he might owe us. I'll get you back to circle back here in 1 second, but a reminder, this week's episode is brought to you by Underdog, the easiest way to get in on the action every single night. If you haven't signed up yet, head over to Underdog, use promo code CIRCLES, and Underdog will hook you up with up to $1,000 in bonus credit, plus a gimme pick to get you started as well. Whether you're building pick'em lineups or you're diving into their new peer-to-peer champions contest, the app is clean, it's smooth, and it makes every night more exciting. And for golf fans, Underdog has you covered for the Masters this week with their Playing for Sundays promo. Here's how it works. For every round Dustin Johnson survives at Augusta, your profit boost on Underdog gets bigger and bigger. So if DJ finds his way to the weekend, you'll be stacking green right alongside him. Head over to the Underdog lobby, lock in your first Playing for Sunday lineup, and get ready for one of the best weekends in golf. So once again, use promo code CIRCLES. The link is in the description below, and start playing on Underdog today.
Well, we're going to stick with Duke when we go to the next topic here, talking about free play futures. This is one that comes from Geoff Rosa, who's featured on the show a couple of times now. Basically, Geoff Rosa was posting college basketball plays last season, went pretty hot, so decided for this season to make a dub club, start selling picks. The pick selling has not gone very well for anybody who has bought those picks, and we keep having to put him on the show for things like this. He made a post saying, "I genuinely am pissed when I really shouldn't be. I love this Duke team too much, man." And he posted a screenshot of his some Buckeyes tickets where he had Houston, Florida, and Duke all to win the national championship. He had Houston at $80 at plus 700. He had Florida at $91 at plus 1,400, and he had Duke $165 bet at plus 800. But what people learned very quickly on this one is that there was an FP beside all of the bets, meaning that all of these were free plays, and he didn't actually lose any of the money on these plays. And he even got called out by Shady Beef, who we've covered one of their collab bets in the past. They seem to have a good relationship with one another. Maybe not anymore, because Geoff Rosa deleted that tweet after Spinfluencer called him out and other people called him out. And Beef said, "This is loser shit" for posting it. And they had a little bit of a back and forth here, but I found it pretty odd that Shady Beef actually turned on Geoff Rosa a little bit like this. But I'm sure you guys have a lot to say. Posting free plays like that, not even that large amount for somebody who's actually selling picks. What do we think?
Okay, people will get really mad at me for saying this. People are legitimately going to get upset. I actually kind of feel sorry for Geoff Rosa a little bit at this point, because the Thursday crew, the Friday crew, Thursday recording, Friday release of Circle Back talked about Bill Krakenberger tweet where he talked about a friend winning some parlays in the early going, and now he can't convince him that, parlays are a bad thing. Geoff Rosa is a young kid, went on fire in college basketball last year, and that naturally just gets to you. You'll have a million people come out and be like, "Geoff, you're not a winning college bettor." It's like the mob movies where there's like a random guy who's like pretending he's like a gangster, but the rest of the gangsters can sniff him out right away. They're like, "This guy's a phony." That's basically how I could compare the entire Geoff Rosa situation on Twitter, where you had a bunch of people of like, "Dude, stop. You're not going to win. You don't have an edge." And then he's eventually sold picks. It's not gone too well. Now he does stuff where, he's posting, I would assume, like, images for clout, really. Like, I had all these teams that are in the Final Four. They're all free play teams.
I think he's saying here, he's been like hyping up Duke all year, but he's actually on all these teams, so it's not actually bad that Duke lost for him.
I haven't seen a market cornered like this since a GRP.
He's saying I'm pissed when I shouldn't be, because he's pissed that Duke lost because he's been hyping them up. But he said he shouldn't be because, oh my God, look at all these great positions I still have.
Yes, exactly.
I've never been offered a free play on the street.
Yeah, I mean, that's, again,
this is
Geoff, like getting free play from a Buckeye agent would be a pretty strong indicator that you're a mark, basically. I don't like. I'm not getting free plays from Buckeye agents, and even you're not, Geoff.
I'm not getting free Buckeye.
This is one of like you were saying, like they get sniffed out. This is like the most obvious signal ever of like, wow, this is you're a mark. You are not a real bettor.
It's like I cornered the market, but you like told on yourself.
In a sense, there's and that's the thing. Like, I don't know what that tweet is supposed to accomplish. I guess it is supposed to accomplish the like, I am a great bettor. I have these other great positions as well. Sure, I've hyped up Duke for a while. They lost, but okay, I have a few other positions, both Florida and Houston. I'm guaranteed to win one of these futures. But accompanied with that FP, that free play, it doesn't look so good. And I will say, I don't know what it is with people deleting tweets, but it might as well just be an admission of guilt.
Yeah.
Like, just leave the tweet up.
You got to own it, man.
You got to own it.
But I agree with you. Like, I don't agree with you in terms of feeling bad, because like at the end of the day, how old is he? Like
I don't know. He's,
He's
in
in
his
his
20s, I guess.
Yeah, he's in his 20s. Like, he's not, a kid. Like, it's still his responsibility. He's still the one making money for selling on Dub Club. But I do totally agree that, like, it was like he hit a parlay. He got hot for a bit, clearly, got a bit of an inflated ego, and has been kind of exposing himself all year. And it's been a tough watch.
Yeah, like who are going to be the 20-year-old kids that are going to profit long term just by handicapping college basketball games?
Not Geoff Rosa.
But it's not going to happen, really. Like think about.
I don't know about that. I know smart people who win college basketball who are 23.
Okay, fair. From they're just handicapping games themselves.
No, I don't. I guess you're saying like he just like looks at the teams and is
Yeah,
like
you know what I'm
fair,
saying? Like
yeah.
we know
His eyes, his power ranks.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't you know?
Fair.
Like I'm not saying nobody. Obviously, people can win betting anything, right? But like it takes getting to a certain level to be able to compete. Like he's really he's releasing college basketball sides on
you're
game
sounding
day.
like somebody else right now. No young man can win at sports betting.
Oh, here we go again. No, that's not what I'm saying. You're right, Jacob. I do sound. I am very open-minded when it comes to it. But again, it's game day college basketball sides. I guess I know people who are competing in this market and what it takes for them to win, and I don't know. I kind of just I feel like
You think he's betting on vibes and like, oh, this is a good 3-point shooting team against a team with a slow pace and doesn't really have any like math background.
I've been around on gambling Twitter forever to know that what's happened to Geoff Rosa has happened dozens of times. I've seen it over the years. Okay, there was David the Man was a guy that was respected on gambling Twitter, completely went into shambles. I don't want to get into this personal story. There was a guy named Enrop many years ago. Same thing. College basketball picks, really well thought out write-ups, handicapping the games, went really hot one season. Everybody started tailing. Boom. Everyone goes bust after the. So I'm there's so many. Like Jimmy Shivers, great guy, was posting a pick on every single hockey game every day, and people were tailing who's doing well. Like it happens. Even when Barry Horse first came on the scene, I'm not suggesting Barry Horse loses, but like he was so hot for 2 months when he started. By the time everybody started getting in on it, he started losing over the course of the rest of the year. Like it's just going to happen to people, right? And getting hot immediately is almost a recipe for disaster.
100%. And there are just so many people betting and so many people posting that some subset is going to get hot over a period of time, even if those people aren't actually winning bettors and have no edge.
Right. I will say 100%. Don't try not to delete your tweets.
Yeah.
Just don't. Especially if you're going to start arguing with people afterwards. That they just leave it up. Just leave up the tweets.
Next up here, we got some reporters talking about betting, and usually sports reporters, when they talk about betting, it's a recipe for disaster because they may know a lot about sports, but you doesn't mean you necessarily know a lot about betting. And we have some prime examples here of exactly that happening. First, Paul Charchian, is that how you say it?
I have no idea, honestly.
He works. He does work with Fantasy and Radio Minnesota. Tweeted about NFL win totals. He compares J.J. McCarthy to Sam Darnold here because J.J. McCarthy is starting for Minnesota this season. Sam Darnold was starting for them last season. And last season, Sam Darnold won 14 games with the Vikings. And this season, the Vikings win total is set at 8.5 with Sam Darnold in. And
I hate this math.
The implication from Paul here.
So stupid.
The implication from Paul here is he suggested the betting markets are implying that J.J. McCarthy is 5.5 wins worse than Sam Darnold, despite what he called clear upgrades on Minnesota's roster. And this one got widely criticized because, obviously, like you could say that the Vikings ran a little bit hot last season, and there's a lot more variables than just comparing quarterbacks. But we'll start with this one here before we go to the next one. What do you think, Rob?
Yeah, I mean, like,
It's just
reporters tweeting sports betting. It's going to happen forever. It's you just.
They don't know any better.
They don't know. They don't. So it triggers me.
you almost feel bad for them in the sense because it's like a lot of them are in like if you're in print or radio, they're like not, and their industries are dying, and the sportsbook money is like the last vestige. And some of them even like,
Yeah.
the fact that they have to talk about it makes them like so upset, and then they instantly feel an obligation to talk about it. That's more like big picture. This one though is just I hate this math so much.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like anyone who it's even casual bettors would look at this tweet and be like, obviously, this is not the public believes it has nothing to do with the public first and foremost. Second of all, like using a team's final regular season wins and then comparing it to what the market opener is the next is not telling you anything. It really isn't. There's a lot of things there's luck in sports as well. What was the Vikings win total last year going into the season? That would be, a better comparison than maybe their final overall wins. It's aggravating. I will say, at least this guy, from what I saw, wasn't like doubling down when people started to point it out, because the infamous arguments I've always had with reporters, or when they tweet something like, well, if you're betting on spring training, you're a degenerate. And it's like,
classic.
No, you might be, like, sure, but there's actually lots of edges to be had on spring training baseball that you'll never get in the regular season or postseason. And, then you'll argue with the person, and then they'll tweet back at you, like, again, like, oh, tell me you're a bettor without telling me you're a bet, like stupid comments like that. And you just don't go anywhere. To me, that's the more critical error that a lot of the quote unquote reporters make when they're talking about betting, is that they then argue their points against other bettors who are telling them they're wrong.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And the problem with this tweet also is the implication that if Sam Darnold had signed with the Vikings,
yeah, they're going to be 14?
They would open up at maybe 14.5 because they have upgrades at guard, center, cornerback, and defensive tackle. Like, that's obviously not the case. No team opens at 14 wins.
Right.
Like, it's just a tough thing that even the smartest reporters I follow, I find really just, they'll say the classics of like, oh, the Lakers win total is this high.
Right.
Because everyone loves the Lakers, stuff like that. So, yeah, it's just, I think it'll get better over time, but it's not great right now.
I saw these ones from Ben Albright.
If that aggravated
These
you,
are
this
way
one,
worse.
yeah, this one is going to be way worse here. This is Benjamin Albright, a Broncos reporter, and he tweeted about draft markets, and he suggested you could lock in a profit by betting both Shedeur Sanders and Jackson Dart as the second quarterback selected. Sanders is currently minus 550. And Dart is currently plus 350. So he suggested, if your books don't have limits, I'm reading it directly. If your books don't have limits on draft props, you can probably bet both sides at one at one at the other. So he's saying you can bet both sides of this at minus 550 and plus 350 in a market that is not two-way and profit. Even if this was a two-way market, you still would be very far off of an ARB opportunity, but this is not a two-way market. There are a lot of quarterbacks that can go second in this draft. So that was a bad one. And then the other one he has here, first offensive lineman selected, Campbell at minus 125, Membu at minus 105. Both are intriguing. So again, like, this is not a two-way market even, but minus 125, minus 105. Like, yeah, bet both sides of... You could bet both sides of college national champion, but yeah, they're both intriguing. Like, what sort of value do you have here?
I actually don't mind Benjamin Albright. I know that he's been tweeting more about sports betting recently, and again, this is just to my like, it's going to happen. I mean, when this first started happening, I would get really upset, right? And it's like, and this is just the way that the industry is working now. Like, if you're into sports, you probably have to have some sort of betting takes as well, especially if you're covering the draft. By the way, like, if your books don't have limits on draft props, what books doesn't have limits on draft props? Of course they, like, think.
Hey, to be fair, they
I know
probably wouldn't
guys.
have limits on this idea.
Well, obviously not. If you want to bet minus 550 and plus 3. But, okay, like, there's so many things that are wrong with both of these that I actually can't help but laugh. First of all, if you even had an ARB on these, do you know what you could possibly make off of a draft ARB? You're like talking like $5. There's no market right now.
Hey,
on any of
don't
this
tell
stuff.
Elf. Don't tell
imagine
Elf, man.
betting
He'll be all
both
over
sides
it.
of these things. So, I don't know. I mean, it's just like another situation where, again, I don't want to pretend like I know everything about Benjamin Albright, but Very clearly, I think that there's some betting stuff here that's maybe.
What do you
gone
think
over
they
his head.
could get down on a market like this? Average.
Well, I don't know. If you're betting like this, an infinite amount, honestly. Like, you know how people talk about...
I'm trying to see like what the actual
like, I don't know.
would be.
Like, Cirque, I think, was taking 300, 400 we talked about.
So when
On a minus 550?
I will say in the last couple weeks, Adam Chernoff started releasing some draft stuff, as did Vegas Refund, that guy as well. And I went to a pretty big props mover. He was on call customer service, Juan Martinez. He was on Circles Off here. You can check out that interview if you want to, over a year ago. But I went to him just to see like what the market is looking like right now, and he's like, don't even bother asking for another few weeks. Like it's very much in its infancy right now. You'd have to have some sort of, let's say, VIP account, and even then, you wouldn't want to bet something that's going to like close well on one of those accounts.
But we're like so far past this tweet, like limits. I know he mentions limits, but like, you know how people talk about like infinite money glitch, like people. This is like a legitimate infinite money losing glitch.
Yeah.
Like this is you.
So if you bet 1650 to win 300, I think I have that right at minus 550. If you were to hedge with the dart play, you would automatically lose $133, and that doesn't account for the possibility of losing both of the plays.
Well, he very clearly fucked up, and in his head he was thinking minus 350 and plus 550. I think it's clear as day that.
But it's not a two-way market anyways.
I agree, but like he believes that it is 100% certainty that it's going to be Sanders or Dart.
But even that is a reason to put this up. It's just double here.
Yeah.
Albright is one of the more fascinating NFL beat reporters.
When you say fascinating,
not many of them end up in the New York Post for interesting things.
Right.
You mentioned with this Paul gentleman on the previous tweet that he quickly caught on, and it was explained to him he didn't double down. Albright's the type to triple down. So I'm hyper curious how when someone he does trust, who he knows is a good bettor, I assume is in his orbit, explained it to him, how he came back to his audience, because he's the last guy to I fucked up.
It's funny you mention that. So Albright has a really large following, and there was tons of engagement on this tweet. And by the way, Jacob here, when he's put this together, has just highlighted 2 of the 6 points that were in the original tweet. So there was a number 1, a number 3, 4, and 5, and those were not egregious whatsoever. They were just draft takes. These were the betting related ones that were egregious. Somebody did mention to him about number 2 not being a situation where you could profit on both, and he responded, which I thought was even more egregious than this, about how you can use odds boosts, you can use profit boosts to get them to a spot where you
what
can...
are we talking
That's
about?
what I'm saying. See, the doubling down. Sometimes you just got to be you know what, my bad. I actually confused the odds or whatever this might be.
You don't have to be an expert about everything.
Yeah, you can people make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. You know, it's going to happen. But and I'm not suggesting Albright doesn't have any betting knowledge, because I think he does.
Yeah, I think he does.
He's definitely, I've seen tweets, he's been tweeting betting for a while now.
Yeah.
I don't know his full.
And in terms of I'll give him flowers, I think in the NFL coaching carousel, he, before any domino fell, he predicted 85% of it.
Yeah.
So he's connected. You follow him as a Chargers fan. I just follow him for Broncos stuff, and he's it. He's clearly connected to that team. But he's this is worse math than the win total, guys.
Well, if I was taking, so me and Kirk, I'll speak for Kirk. We're on the sharp side. We win at sports betting. There's Porter, BA Analytics. He always pops in whenever something like this happens. He's you guys realize you need people like this in the ecosystem. This is good for us as winning bettors. You want someone who has this much credibility in the space, tweeting to the masses with really bad advice. I completely agree with that, but I don't know why my head cannot process when I see something like this, I get triggered more than I am like, oh, this actually helps me in the long run.
I'd rather it be like the beat reporter, like overrating an injury situation that like the books or the models have like accounted for, as opposed to this like just sheer like upfront stupidity of like simple mathematics on the layout and the return on with any denomination.
It's a tough look.
Yeah.
Just leave it at that. A lot of the reporter comments are tough looks.
A lot of reporters out there who just don't understand betting. But you know who does understand betting? Well, that's EdgeBoost, and this episode is brought to you by them. It's the financial platform built for smart bettors. If you're still funding your betting accounts through banks that block transactions and charge fees, it's time to make a change. With the EdgeBoost Visa debit card, you get 100% approval on all gambling deposits, no cost to use it, FDIC insurance up to $250,000, and instant access to your bankroll, whether you're betting online or walking into a casino. We've had a bunch of viewers and listeners sign up recently, and the feedback has been incredible. Faster deposits, no decline payments, and even cash back on qualified betting spend up to $750 a month. And right now, when you deposit $25, EdgeBoost will match it with another $25 to get you started. So if you're serious about sports betting, DFS, or poker, whatever your game is, don't mess around with banks that slow you down. Try EdgeBoost today with the link in the description. Next, we're going to go to the comments from last week's episode. As always, leave your comments down below, and maybe it's good enough to feature or bad enough to feature on this show. Do you want to go through these, Rob?
Sure. Chris Collier, babe, wake up, circle back, SmackDown versus Raw era has arrived. I actually just want to, we have never really talked about this at all. Do you feel any sort of rivalry with the second show?
No, but they want to have one.
That's what I was going to say. Only because they push it so hard.
That's exactly where I was going with it. Like, I listened to the show, and I'm like, wow, these guys really want, like, some serious beef between the two shows.
What was Nadu? Like, Nadu's not wrong. I think the collective, like, followings...
Yeah, he big dicked us.
We would lose, but, like, Nadu's the fucking... I'm not going to besmirch...
Well, let's call it out for what it
Nadu?
is. Kirk has a very small social following.
I think this back-to-back episodes.
I am just stating the
but
fact.
I think Flup
said
put
that
it
you
out
called
there,
him
countered
last
it.
week,
Flup
and that
has a
was
smaller
rude.
following than me.
But Flup countered it by saying, like, yeah, Nadu, like, your following's big, but I actually think, like, Pizzola might be the biggest draw of the whole group in terms of sports gambling.
Listen,
talk.
I don't care how this comes off. I really don't. I get engagement. I know that from my following. Like if I like I was saying about the Omar Spaces last week. If I do a fucking like live show of me taking a shit reading a newspaper, I'll get more views than his show would. I will. I'm telling you, I actually will. Like, I have enough of an engaged following where I will. So do those guys. But, like, I don't have any beef.
If something happened this week, like, between their recording and one of them tweeted something that should be here, like, we'd go in on it. But I don't have any... I like them all.
Yeah. I definitely say we're raw.
Like
we're raw. We're not SmackDown.
You look at it like a car, like an F1, like, garage. Like, I like both. I guess there's a car 1 and a car 2, though. I don't know.
This is Kanish, though. Like, Kanish, he lives for, like, the contra. He just is trying to stir shit up at all times. Like, it's a 100%.
Do you know what it would take for me to, like, get angry at any of those people on that show? Like, I know Kanish could say some things, but I don't even think he'd mean them. So it'd be hard for me to get
I would just
angry
laugh. That's the thing. Like, when he says stuff about me, I just laugh. I don't even, like... I know.
Like, he came on here, he sat in this chair, he's like, I wish Fienberg was here. I'd do 30 minutes with him on Palestine. Right? Like,
that was the first thing he said.
Yeah, that was the first thing he said.
I like those guys and I like the show.
Yeah.
You say you don't care, but also you want the thumbnail for this video to be the A team.
So I will
Damn
say,
right.
So I
you care a little.
Mayo Media Memes. You know that guy? He does
Well, I know him on the internet.
Yeah, he sent me he said he sent it to me and said you should use this as a thumbnail for next week. I said LOL, like love it. We're using it. It's good. But yeah, it's like if we're gonna have like the back and forth of like who's the A team or not, I think we'll let the viewership decide. I would say.
Oh yeah, who's winning in that?
Let's say this team is winning in terms of viewership.
No, but here's the thing. I think, like, as a fan, I enjoy. Like, I look forward to that show. Makes my Thursday morning commute like Friday morning.
Yeah,
at 8 a.m.
Right. Like I enjoy it. I think 90% of the people are listening to both.
I would think so. It's pretty high. There's a big crossover between both, and I hope it continues that way. Honestly, it's great. I listen to it on Friday morning as well, and
yeah, it's good. Rob doesn't hear it ahead of time, so he's
it's just a different perspective. I like different perspectives. That was the whole point of creating the show, and I think it works well. Simone Hunter too says weird for Fezzik to call out Kirk's appearance. Jason's mullet and Moretto's mustache are far more offensive. Do we have pictures of? Does anyone know what these guys look like? You might have to edit this in post, Jacob.
Oh, you want photos of
I
Jason
want image. I need people to see Jason's. Jason has been on at the Leafs game.
He got it again.
He's been on TV twice in the last 2 weeks. Yeah. I gotta say,
those are good seats. He's going to be a great capper.
He's gonna be a great capper.
the best Maple Leafs capper.
That's why he's going there.
Yeah,
that's why he's going to all these games. Moretto looks like Austin Matthews.
Yeah, absolutely.
He will hate that because he's a Habs fan, but Moretto looks like.
But he must get it. When he goes out, does he not get it?
Like get it in sense of like
people
saying you look
like
Austin Matthews.
like
Man,
dumb.
I'm
like guy's married
else.
with a kid. Like he's not
Like just people who are like no, but not no. Like my mother-in-law, be like, I think that's Austin Matthews.
Well, I don't know.
Moretto's hairline's better than Austin's.
How tall is Austin Matthews?
I guess
Moretto's also tall.
No, Matthews is huge.
I don't know. Moretto's taller than Matthews.
By the headshot,
Moretto's
it
6'3", 6'4".
It absolutely
Matthews
plays
is
in the
6'3".
headshot.
Let me look up Matthews' height.
Jason's mullet. What do you guys think about Jason's mullet?
Fits him.
It suits him.
Austin
He looks
Matthews-
like trailer trash, Jason.
Austin Matthews is 6'2". Moretto's taller than him.
Yeah, Moretto's taller than Matthews. I could
Okay,
see
what
it though.
people in public are like, that guy looks
I don't know.
6'3",
And
not
Moretto's
6'2".
also rather skinny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matthews.
Colt0, Geoff looking thinner and healthy. Has he been doing clap push-ups like Elf?
I don't think that's the truth.
You don't think you're thinner? And
I don't know. I think it was like a hibernating winter
okay.
for this polar bear. Like listen, I don't like numbers, Rob.
Yeah.
It's like I explained to you on the golf course. I don't need a number to know how I played. Mm-hmm. Like that ball, it's getting up there. Like contact feels good. We're like green side in 2.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna like go down in 6, 27 feet from the hole, like I'll still feel good. The scale, I know how I'm doing by the pants. I don't need a number.
Yeah.
How the pants feel is the number.
That's your scale.
And the pants are like they're feeling okay, but you don't feel like they're feeling like...
I would say like this jacket, when it was gotten for me as a gift 8 years ago, it was like really tight.
Okay.
Now like it fits kind of comfortably. So I
you
guess
have
I've
been
made
doing the
progress.
clap
So then
push-ups.
you agree.
Yeah.
But like in the spectrum of like football season, I think I've gotten fatter. And we're still in that, so I don't think so.
well, you're
That's okay.
stopping
So
on
that's
equals
enough.
parade.
Yeah, it's okay.
You've got
Yes.
the compliment here.
When you're like it all plays.
King of Car Seat says, becoming more cultured, have now had to investigate the use of washroom, as well as Jacob continually calling parentheses brackets, hashtag Great White North.
Dude,
so
I've never in my fucking life said the word
I
have a lisp. I'm not even going to fucking try to say that word now, but...
yeah, I will admit that like a Canadianism of saying washroom doesn't really make like a lot of sense.
Well, what about restroom? You go in there to take a nap?
There
What
was,
else? We do a couple things like soda or pop. Which one's ours? Soda?
don't
Cola? I don't know.
We say
One of them.
pop. We say pop.
Pop.
We say pop.
Pop.
And they'll say it to an American
a lot
waitress.
of
They'll
Canadians
think
say
you're
supper
nuts.
as well
Childish to
instead
me
of
now,
dinner.
though.
They'll say supper. It's not me. I say dinner.
I hate that.
I'm not.
And then there's
I have honestly. There's no way.
What do they call washroom?
restroom, bathroom.
Bathroom. Yeah,
Bathroom
they're all
is-
stupid. Bathroom?
And one of us does 4th grade and the other like grade 4.
Yes,
I don't- and
Americans
that's
do
also-
4th grade, 8th grade. We
College,
say
university too.
yeah, we say we use if it's the University of Toronto, we say I went to university, whereas this is like college everywhere in the States. Going to college, right? So there's lots of those. But I'm calling BS on Americans using parentheses instead of
Yeah,
brackets.
I've never, like, it didn't even dawn on me this was like a possibility. I was using terminology that wasn't widely accepted there. Like, people don't say in brackets. I
Well,
feel
but
like
you know
that's more
what? They
commonly
do.
said.
They do use parentheses because in school we learn bedmas.
And they're
BED,
pedmas.
and they're pedmas or
Wait, but yeah,
PEMDAS
was
or
it
something.
in reference
Oh.
to math,
that's a good
or
point.
was it
Okay.
in reference to writing?
No, it's in reference to I
Because
guess
Fezzik had that tweet where, like, every second word he had to put something in
in brackets.
parentheses.
Yeah, I would never say parentheses.
Yeah, no,
I'm sorry.
I've never heard
Yeah.
that before.
Parentheses.
I agree.
You're Canada Dry.
I'm Canada Dry. So good, man. As a reminder, we are doing swag giveaways here every week on Circle Back. This week's winner of a very nice package, what's including some hammer gear, Circles Off gear, Betstamp gear, is going to at Italian Mamba 08. At Italian Mamba 08. You just have to email us, circlesoff@thehammer.bet. Give us your sizing, give us your address. We will get you a swag bag. And of course, if you want to be entered in this week's giveaway, 3 things you got to do. It's always 3 things every single week. First one, sub here to Circles Off. We are pushing 20K subs. Please sub to the channel. Number 2, leave us a comment down below. Might get it on the show, might not get it on the show, but leave us a comment. Third thing you're going to do, follow Circles Off HQ on Instagram. The reason why we will be posting some unique content to Instagram going forwards that will just be for that platform. You won't get it on YouTube. You won't get it on Twitter. So 3 things if you want to enter the swag giveaway. Sub here, leave a comment, and then follow us at Circles Off HQ on Instagram. And of course, even if you don't want the swag, do the same stuff as well.
By the way, Italian Mamba 08, do we think this is a 2008 born person that's won this? A 16-year-old?
No, can't be.
It might be. 08? It might be.
I look at the YouTube demographics. I don't know. I'm going to say no.
Yeah,
I'm going to say no.
maybe just an
feel-
Ovechkin fan.
Yeah. Or Lamar Jackson,
Maybe.
another number 8. All right. Last week, we also encouraged people
I don't like this.
to.
You don't like that graphic?
No, I like the graphic. I just.
But you,
Okay.
don't, you were the one that offered
wanted
this.
to do
again.
that.
I don't remember
What do you mean you
offering
don't
it.
like this?
You
this
wanted
was,
this.
This wasn't even part of the
asked for
script
it.
last week. You asked for it. Geoff famously said that, you want to impress me, like show me pictures of your kitchen.
Yeah.
I added the walk-in closet thing myself. We did get a few entries last week, so I'm going to turn out. This is like when Max Homa critiques other people's golf swings. Can't do that anymore, by the way, because his swing ain't very good. But
I do have like a bit of kitchen expertise. Well, not like personally,
okay.
but my mother's an interior designer
Okay.
and like big on kitchens and yeah. So it just lived through my house in and out forever.
You're
that sort of
absolutely
thing.
the expert on this panel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like some good ones, like a lot, like some old school, like Jays and Leafs
Do like
as
the
well.
Princess Margaret homes and stuff like that?
No, not really that stuff.
All right. I don't
It's
know why
more
I
of
would've
like-
asked that. That's just
Yeah.
very would have been like insane if you actually did do that stuff. Anyways, we do got some submissions from last week. Submission number 1 here.
Okay, so obviously this is like this just feels like the whole floor plan of the place, to be honest, because it's upstairs.
How can you tell it's upstairs?
I just
look
out
at
the window.
Oh, the window in the
I'm like,
back.
what do you mean? How
What
can
a,
I tell?
what a good.
Oh my
I did
God.
not catch
So
that.
this just seems like it's like a duplex or like a front level. So this actually just seems like the whole floor plan of the space, like excessive cabineting in the kitchen. I'm not complaining about it.
This is a banger kitchen, dude.
Yeah, it seems
No,
nice.
but this is a great take because I would have looked at this and been like, holy shit, that's like an amazing kitchen. But
But if it's your whole floor plan,
Great
then
point.
it's like
This is why
I'm
you're
just
the
saying
lead
it
here.
loses a little bit. But obviously
100%.
the bar, we might even have 2 sinks. No, 1 sink.
How do you feel about the
One
sink
sink.
on
Yeah,
the island?
I don't love the sink.
I don't
I
like
gotta
the
say,
sink
I
on
don't
the
love the
island.
sink
I
on the
gotta say,
island.
sometimes I see sink on the island. There's like 2 sinks.
Yeah.
There's literally 2 sinks on the. I don't mind. There's nice little tile backsplash on the. I'll
tell you what I
fine.
love.
Could use another sink for sure.
Yeah, you could.
There's
this
like a
much
lot
counter
of counter
you could.
space. This also, I want to take down a couple points, Rob. This clear looks like the real estate agent like photo. It's just too clean.
That was
I don't
my
see a
first
toaster.
thought. Yeah.
There's just nothing going on. There's just
There's a
nothing
little bit
going
in the
on
second
here.
photo
I don't
here.
even see a remote.
And those
little bit
top
here.
cabinets are never getting used.
Yeah, the top one.
Yeah,
Top
you're
one.
like
There
storing
might be some
like
vents that run through there as
Yeah.
well. and a lot
maybe,
of holes.
but yeah, you might be storing like some big cooking
I'm a big
things up
fan
there.
of kitchens that have
like bowls.
the hardwood that's running through the rest of the floor that also runs through the kitchen. I'm
Mm.
not a huge fan of like when there's a divide and it turns into tiles in a big room. I think that looks jarring. So that I personally think this is like a 9.5.
It's beautiful.
out of
It's
10
lovely. It's lovely.
kitchen.
Yeah, it's a banger.
Banging kitchen.
It's lovely.
What else we got here, Jacob? We got this kitchen.
Okay, yeah. Who sent this one in? This looks like it's been lived in.
What do you think about this kitchen, Kirk?
Like, looks like they've got a bunch of kids, is my thought.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
this stresses me out.
You a
seeing
fan
that.
of this one?
I think this is nice. I think, yeah, like again, nice marble, nice backsplash.
I love the waterfall on the counter. Like you see how the marble comes down the side of the counter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice.
That's
It's
like
a-
a very
Bullshit.
nice
Like,
aesthetic.
I don't like you guys are pointing shit out that I would not.
There's,
notice if I looked right now,
there's
So we're
kids.
married, that's why like, the wives come with ideas and you're like, oh fuck yeah.
There's kids and dogs clearly in abundance here.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is Jeff's kitchen.
Yeah,
right?
I sent this one in.
So if
This
I'm,
is-
I'm
this
pretty
is my
happy
kitchen.
that Rob forwarded it to me because I wouldn't have known it was yours, and I probably would have ripped.
I
this,
just sent
ripped
it-
this person to shreds for how messy it is.
No,
How do you
no.
live like this?
What are you talking about? I got three kids and 2 dogs.
I'm gonna,
I get it.
I will
What do you
tell
mean?
Jeff,
what is that? What is
I
Jeff,
cook.
this-
I cook all the time. Like I would explode if I had to deal with this mess. When
yeah,
I'm
this
trying to
isn't
cook.
all. This isn't like fresh or clean up, but this is just like this is the action.
Jeff, I really like your kitchen.
Yeah.
But I
Very
will say
nice
this
kitchen, yeah.
picture gives me anxiety.
Buddy,
Because I have no kids.
Yeah.
And my
That's how- that's
countertops
how I
are
feel.
always clear at all times.
No, that's like there's appliances up there. There's like a whole thing. You know how many bottles? It's nonstop bottles going in and out. Yeah.
Do you
See, like I
have,
also noticed the dog bed on the floor right in front of the fridge.
No, that just like moves around, can get kicked around. There's nothing too serious
Anyways, I
about
like the
that.
finishes. It's very nice.
Where's
nice
the
backsplash.
dishwasher? Is it
Okay,
over
it's
here?
like
Yeah.
there's dishwasher.
So
garbage.
This is a
there
peninsula.
2 microwaves?
No, that's a toaster oven
And a range.
and a microwave.
Yeah.
Toaster oven's kind of like a stove, isn't it?
No, it's not.
Not
It's-
really.
It's like a toaster, but it's a
It's
oven.
like a toaster oven.
Yeah. I have a toaster
The
oven.
stove is just too. I don't want to get into it, but there's just too much. It's too high tech. It's just. It's just.
that was it because the only thing I really notice is the stove because I like to cook, but I don't know shit about design.
Yeah.
I would like to.
Like
cook on
there's
that
just
stove.
too many things with like kids like that don't need that level stove. That the toaster oven is just more, way more efficient. But yeah, listen, it's 3 kids, 2 dogs.
You don't have to.
There's a lot
I
going
like,
on
It's
here.
a great
I like the whole
kitchen.
setup.
Only,
I like
only
your flooring.
improvement for me is like an island setup here. I know you.
No,
can't really,
normally we do. But
Oh, really?
listen, we
Okay.
are run over. There normally used to be bar. We got bar chairs that are in the basement that would like go on that side.
Fair enough.
But like, yeah, I don't know. Don't clip this. My wife probably be horrified that I shared the messy kitchen.
Don't worry, we won't put this to social, Jeff. It's okay. What else we got over?
But yeah, there's a lot. There's just a lot. I could have taken some like the kids' toys off that counter, but what am I gonna do?
Yeah, don't worry. All right, different color scheme for this one. We got dark cabinets, like a darker wood instead of the previous 2. Jeff's kitchen and the other one had white. I also like this.
This layout is 10 out of 10. I'm not a fan of
Yeah.
the coloring though.
No.
The corner sink there.
It's like
a
the
bar.
rich mahogany.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I got it's intense, but I don't mind it. I don't know. It's nice.
I like
love
it.
that island, man.
I like that island, yeah.
Two-tiered island so that you can
Yeah.
like clean on one part and it not affect the eating section.
Mm-hmm.
That's unreal.
That is really nice. The only thing I will say about this one on the left side, a lot of the older kitchens would have this like little seating area because there used to be like a phone.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
like
for,
a landline phone there.
in the house I grew up in had something
Yeah,
like
it's
this.
time to update that maybe like a little bit, maybe make that as like pantries. But aside
You're
from
right,
that,
though. That used to be like messages.
yeah, you have your phone there and you go and sit down and you check your messages and whatever.
When I lived with my parents, we had one of those. I could never understand why that section was there until you just.
There you
Yeah,
go.
no, buddy. Yeah, it's just for a different
was it. And
time, or like writing, like there's a pen and paper sort of lot going on there.
I believe we have a
Note
closet
keeping.
as well. I'm
Yeah,
pretty
this
sure.
is the bathroom / walk-in closet. So I guess
It's
the
hard to
master
get
bathroom
see what's
closet.
going on here.
Yeah.
I'm envious of anyone with a walk-in closet these days.
It's nice. It's well sorted.
Yeah.
You got
It's
got
hard to-
lots of
it's hard to
hanging
know
on
the
both
scale,
sides.
though.
Yeah, it's hard
It's
to
true.
see the scale, but I got no. I don't
like-
know. Looks clean. Looks nice. I like the floor tiles.
It
in the
also looks
washroom.
like we can't see from the picture on the left, but I think it looks like a his and hers type of ensuite where there's like two different sinks
yeah.
on opposite, which is nice. I
Yeah.
can tell you that. Like
That's fantastic.
that's
for
totally
sure.
agree.
Yeah, that's really good. All right, you can send in more of your kitchens or walk-in bathrooms.
Probably those like
sorry.
horrific ones that were sent in. That'd have been.
Yeah, I mean,
That'd be better.
there was the one I did a reverse image search and it was just taken offline, so someone was trying a little too hard. But if you
Ooh,
really
that,
want,
that first one, I reverse image search. I actually thought it was like a real estate.
A lot of those were like really
advertisement.
clean. Like courage to me for oh my god,
Yeah.
my wife will.
Jeff,
getting, like-
I'll send mine in for next
the
week.
cannon
Because you
in
were a
the
good
moment.
sport about it, you know?
Yeah, and that was all. Yeah. I should have waited till like after the cleaning lady went right through there.
That's what you got to do.
That's
I don't know. I like it more authentic.
yeah, that was authentic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Other than humans in the
Props,
shot.
props to you. All right, next up. Well, maybe I don't know, but like too authentic, or I don't know what this is, but pick selling has gone too fucking far, man. This is out of line. So Betting Queen here at the Betting Queen, pick seller on Dub Club, says I'm only posting my picks early on at winnable bets because my VIP plays always get leaked on Dub Club. So if you want my full card, check out my winnable and let's meet at the bank. So we're now selling picks in two different locations, and you gotta buy both.
I like that.
there's
Notice he
one-
kind of goes hard.
Yeah, that does. I
there's
back
one,
that.
like people will do like the VIP plays and like that's like the paid. Then there's free plays that are given out. But two different sections of paid plays is a new low, and God forbid we see other people try and copy this.
She lost me. Like, sorry, the meet at the bank. I've actually never heard that from like anyone, like from a tout scammer.
Yeah, it's like meet at
even
the- meet at the
legitimate
counter.
Yeah, that is great. Yeah, we'll meet at the bank.
Let's meet at the bank. Yeah, I guess.
You might be going there
Where you
for a
pay
loan.
me for my
meet at the bank so I can take.
'Cause we've,
I can
like-
pull more from my line of
Rob,
credit.
like we've worked with people who've like, yeah, they had to go to the meeting at the bank, but it's like to refinance.
Yes.
right?
Yeah, it's
Some
tough.
things.
What's stopping you at two platforms? Why not go to like WAP as well and sell on all three? at
one
that point?
sport at Winnable, one sport at WAP, one sport at Dub Club.
Like,
This, yeah.
This is obviously about as unserious as it gets, but like, think about if you're a Dub Club subscriber here, like, you're like, oh, okay, now I get the even shittier plays later.
Yeah, because- sorry, I want-
someone is leaking.
I wanted to point something out here. In theory, if you are a winning bettor, which the Betting Queen claims to be, you give out a pick, that line's leaving because it's a good play. Therefore, the line's going to move. So if you're a subscriber on Dub Club, getting these like later in the day or getting different plays, like there's no chance you should be able to get the same line. But the implication here is that you're going to get the same plays on both, the same line.
Yeah. So first of all, does Betting Queen claim to be a winning bettor? She was on the Elf Spaces once, and I had to leave after 5 minutes because I could hear like someone whispering answers to her.
Oh God.
While so like I
She
was
said,
like,
"Let's meet at the bank." I think that implies she thinks she wins.
yeah, I think it might be shtick. I honestly don't know. I don't know for sure. I will say this about touts in general. I share a less extreme viewpoint than you, Kirk, personally, and some other people out there, which are like basically all touts are bad.
I don't think I share that viewpoint. I wrote my newsletter, and Logan Matthews said I was saying yes all touts. I don't know how he came to that conclusion, but I think I'm somewhere in between.
Okay, either
Sorry,
way,
just surface level look at here at the Dub Club. I love handicapping games and picking winners for the people. I've been betting sports for 5 years, been doing excellent, which is the term she used. So I want to share my wisdom and help others win. So it's kind
So it
of
is selling
like
versus-
a little bit gray area, leaning towards saying sure, but not outright saying it.
Yeah, I think the reality is there's not going to be a tout who's marketing their package as being like, I'm a long-term loser, come buy my picks, right? There's levels to it all, right? I'm at the point now of like, I can't believe I'm going to say this. If you're like dumb enough to buy the betting queen's picks, I almost don't have sympathy at this. Like there's so many signs, like just search her on Twitter and there's like accounts dedicated to tracking her to like, you would find the elf spaces where she's like, at some point, I'm for the people not getting scammed, but like at some point, natural selection is real.
Well, I feel like my take has always been like the onus is somewhat on the people to not buy the picks, but like that doesn't make them less shitty for doing it.
Right.
So like, yes, do research and understand who wins and who could help you win, but also that doesn't make the people selling picks who are obvious losers any less shitty.
Especially if you sell on two different.
Yeah,
of course. I will say, knowing that leaking plays causes this much like this many problems for the pick seller themselves, I'm just gonna say it, like outright say it. Look, start leaking everyone's plays. You buy picks for. There used to be forums that did this. What was I can't remember all the gambling forums that used to be on Cappers Mall and stuff like that, where someone would buy plays and they just post them. It's a violation of terms of service at a lot of these sites. But if you can publicly put them out there and all these pick sellers are not going to make anything, I'm all for that.
Absolutely.
I'm all for that.
Absolutely.
I think like we need an activist class in sports betting. Mm-hmm. Right? Like people that have done really well for themselves that want to give back. Right? Like some activism in the space. What I would suggest is a non-for-profit where somebody buys all the packages of the scammers we want to expose and we just blast their picks.
Yeah.
Every day. There's a GoFundMe.
Yeah.
So like people can help contribute to the cost of paying for the betting queen's garbage, but nothing, like you say, rattles these people's cages more than, and I guess like that makes sense why that would bother them. Like their grift is the grift and you don't want to give away the milk for free.
Yeah.
So let's some activist.
But it's the most obvious solution.
So
Geoff.
there it
like
is.
It's a
And
good
people
one.
would
Like,
donate.
yeah, like if
And it might be
if you're
elite.
truly out there to like look out for the other bettors, arguably the best way to do that is to like pay for the stuff that they would pay for themselves and just make it public. Again, you're gonna have to like work around some terms of service stuff at a lot of these sites and stuff like that. But hey, like if you got the money and you don't give a shit.
But also like terms of service, I'm sure there are. Like I can't post that for free. I can sue you.
Yes.
I guess we see a lot of things on the internet. You do it anonymously. You do it under an alias. If you're smart enough to actually do this, you're probably like really good at the internet because you made a fortune betting on it for years. That you like have some, hard to get that. That's just that much harder for that cease and desist to disappear.
Love that idea. It's a good one.
That is.
We need like a George Soros.
We need like a George Riley Panagakis on this case.
Well,
let's say I funded him with the money to be able to buy. Let's say
he's about to be on the other side this fall, though, when he's the one.
You give him
true.
money.
I'm not
weekly
sure
cinnamon
he's the right
monthly
man for this
cinnamon apple
job.
pancakes are becoming weekly. You
I would
start
say that
giving
this
too much.
person needs to have like a desktop computer and be able to track these things.
It's a job for
not on a
Spinfluencer.
notebook. Spinfluencer could do it.
Yeah, he would do it.
Maybe.
So who would be like the top like 5 purchases you'd like want? Like who would you want to see them getting at?
I'm gonna
Are
say
you-
no comment for now. I don't want to. I don't
Jeopardize
wanna,
any potential collabs.
You nailed it, Geoff. Definitely do not want to jeopardize the collabs in the future. I don't know. I mean, like, there's so many
Name
pick
one.
sellers out
Name
there.
one,
It's
not the
absurd.
betting queen.
It's absurd.
Name one person.
that I would like to see, like their picks publicly leaked.
Yeah,
Bo Wagner.
it's a good one.
All right, that's good.
Good
We'll
answer.
leave it at that. And I'm not collabing with Bo Wagner anytime soon. So that one's a C.
Nor are you advocating
Right.
specifically for anybody to do this.
Right.
I kind of was.
No, I actually like. Yeah, I mean, like, don't break laws or anything like that. But
I think, like,
if you
but-
do,
but
it's
here's
on
the thing,
you.
somebody
You
did
see
it.
the stuff that like man of the vague in some of those spaces is willing to pay someone like $1,000 or $2,000 to prove
He's the guy.
like
he's
there
your guy right there.
I'm just saying, like, there are people who I think would like fund, round the first couple rounds of exposure.
Yeah,
For sure.
Yep.
Don't do
100%.
this, but if somebody did it, would it be kind of cool? Maybe, but don't do it. All right, next topic here. It's kind of spilled over into a second Circle Back episode because they're continuing to push this storyline. I've called it the worst storyline in the rundown here because it actually might be the worst storyline, and that is the storyline between Elf and Sean Perry. With Geoff, we can allow him to victory lap it. He called the fight the day before. They had to have been pissed, like to
All-time call.
yeah, to make that call to kind of ruin it.
It's right there. Like,
Yeah.
Elf would pretend to be mad at Sean Perry. He's still pretending to be mad at Sean Perry. Sometimes in the initial, I'm mad at Sean Perry, there was like giggling in the background.
Well-
the type of shit people say about Elf on the internet, sometimes myself. Sometimes, right now, these days, sometimes it comes from me. And like he doesn't say a negative word about anybody. He's turned on the guy who handed him $10K. Get the fuck out of here. WrestleMania's in Vegas next month.
Yes.
Okay? The dudes fighting in those matches are less informed on the outcome of their matches than this. At this moment in time, they'll find out before they go through the curtain or that afternoon from a producer. This is all a work. Elf, the girlfriend or the girl that apparently had an accusation against Perry, all is set up. That person, I don't even know if that person existed. That person was never coming on. It was like a catalyst for Perry to be like, do that and I'll sue you. Do this and I'll do that. Blah, blah, blah. Like the back and forth. We needed a reason. It is all fake.
Well-
Every part of this thing is fake.
Yeah, let's-
I don't even think they'll actually get in the ring together. But
They don't have a signed contract yet, and Elf returned home for one day to Boston and now is already flown back out to Vegas to quote unquote train for this fight, but also renting an Airbnb. Amanda Vance is meeting him there. They're filming content. I'm with you, Geoff. He can tell me a million times, no, this is authentic, or it does not feel authentic.
He has an ounce more credibility than Sean Perry. Mm-hmm. He has burned any equity where I'm supposed to believe a word that he says.
Yeah.
Calculated, manipulative. Okay? The push-up thing that was under debate. That's kind of been under debate. That was not a scam. That was a hustle. I think a hustle and a scam are two very different things. Elf, full transition here. Mm-hmm. He is making a transition. The transition is complete from hustler to scammer. This is all just a scam. It's at a month build up to a fucking fight.
Because
it's
he needs to appease the sponsors.
This thing is going to dry up. This thing is going to...
Yeah,
This
let
thing
me go
is...
through the story here. Let me go through the story
Yeah.
here because, there's a reason it's as bad as it is because they're branding it the winner.
I pray
winner
to God
gets a
Bet
man
Online is
advance.
not involved in this.
Mm-hmm.
They probably will be.
No, they can list fight, but I mean
Yeah.
facilitating the
Right.
month of it.
Well, here's a tweet that came out from Amanda Vance, pick seller at it sells on the website Amanda Wins. We've covered her on the channel extensively. We believe she is not a winning bettor, strongly. But she did a video with her dad and said, Papa Vance doesn't know the winner takes his daughter out. We need a video to my father from Elf and Sean Perry.
I
and
think
then
they're also
he
a
will
couple
choose.
now.
I don't know. I mean,
I would be... Yeah, I think they have...
Content couple.
Yeah, I think they've
This
I
is-
think they've gone around the bases.
I don't know. That's speculation.
I've definitely been
possible.
asked that a bunch of times.
It's I think like I would
I
lay
don't know.
heavy to the yes.
This
I-
is
I
the
don't think so.
gambling
It's all
Twitter
fake, man.
version.
no.
This is the gambling Twitter version of Game of Thrones final season playing out in real time, where you had like this show that ascended to like it's you can't miss like season 3 and 4 of Game of Thrones, like Red Wedding, Mountain versus the Viper, like that. People could not miss that shit. That's how the Spaces was, and then it started to go downhill over time. And people were like, I'm still invested in this because I want to see it play out. And then you get to the end and you're like, what the fuck are we doing? And that's where I'm at right now. Like, I like Elf.
It's gonna be
I'm
a
not
month.
gonna pretend I don't. Like,
a month talking about like him training.
Yeah, he's the central character in his own show right now, which, I mean, personally, I like Elf. I don't find his day-to-day all that interesting, where I need to know like where his sparring sessions were, how he felt. I'm so out on all this. I'm literally so out on the entire. I do not care about Sean Perry. I don't care about the Amanda Vance storyline. I don't care
I
about
think-
Brett versus Library anymore. I don't care about any of the people.
Brett and Library just got to fight, and they can fight in a street fight. What do they need a ring for?
I know
They just need like what do they need a ring for? They don't need a ring. They've been talking about it. They've been talking about it too long. I don't know.
You're gonna watch the fights though.
Yeah, the fight itself, I
yes.
will
Yeah,
watch.
exactly.
If it happens, the fight itself, I will 100%.
I will watch.
Stories
honestly
are
don't even
stupid.
think
Why?
I will.
Like the stories are stupid. Just say you're fighting. Like,
Do you
people
think they
want to see
actually
that.
fight? Because I would bet you no.
I would also bet no.
What would you set the odds? No fight.
Well, there's no contract as of right. First of all,
And now
this
that
is
there's
hilarious
still,
now,
like,
drawing up contracts for all the like. I get why it's happening.
And Elf's just jumping Mazzy. Mazzy was promised his rematch. Elf just jumped him in the chin. Listen, we've already given it too much time.
You know what?
It's fake. There's nothing
Cringe.
real.
It's cringe.
Yeah, but it used to be fake
cringe.
decent. Now it's just hard.
Well, the
fake
argument-
cringe. Elf. I don't know, man. The guy.
Do you guys? Do you
We
guys,
are. Hold on. The arc we're on here, like with how quickly we're moving. Like the guy's gonna. I want to say it. Jacob might beep it.
Okay. Well, beeps are good for
Like
for business.
this arc is like gay porn.
He might have an OnlyFans.
Like it's where we are, like celebrity box. Like we're just pulling all the like
Yeah, I don't
tale as old as time. I would say on the path.
I don't follow this. What do you mean? This is like the end of the arc. Like
yeah,
you're
it's the
waiting
end
to
of
take
the
it-
art. Like
take it
celebrity,
back into
the
like a
boxing.
little bit of.
You get like a couple 15-minute of fame celebrities.
okay,
Next
that's
thing
fine.
you know, we got like a sex tape.
Yes.
Like that's all I'm.
Yes.
Man, that was fine.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
a-
worried what you're about to say.
So you guys aren't tuning into these spaces anymore?
Oh no, yeah, sorry, I didn't mean that. I have no. I
No,
don't.
you're not
even
making
care.
a homosexual comment about
Yeah,
Elf.
I
You're
just
saying
mean
that
like it's
yes.
this.
Yeah, yeah.
Before
This is how you reignite a little bit of the fame, you know?
I just think it's great. Hustler to scammer. It's been a quick transition.
What really pains me about the whole thing is I actually still love the Beak.
you do love the beat.
Beekman.
It's hard not to like.
It's
the
hard
beat.
not to tune in like 3 times because the thing about Beak is the voice is so good, but he has these one-liners that he comes up with on the spot. Like he just interjects when someone says something. Like he has this wit to him, and like I dislike all these other characters who are in on. Don't even get me started on like the steroids guy JW who comes in and preaches for like 20 minutes.
I actually think we should give away a prize here at the network, like a month of. He's like a life coach. JW, like just personal life coach.
He did like a.
I think that would be a punishment, not a prize.
I'm joking.
That guy is he's out there for sure.
It is.
But
It
Beak-
is so fascinating the orbit for which Elf now finds himself in. It's like the sun and these characters circling around.
But so we've talked very negatively about the whole thing. I'm kind of out on the spaces quite a bit, but Beak, man, like I cannot. People don't know who I'm talking about. He sounds like Little Nicky.
Do your imitation.
He always comes in. He's like, "Hey guys, Beak here. Sean Perry, more like Sean Ferry. Am I right?" Be like, Brett, Brett, you had your chance at the library in the bathroom, but you turtled harder than Donatello. You know,
Sound like Beavis and Butthead. Man.
But he's always got like these one-liners, like here, Nadu, I heard this guy wants you to bone his girlfriend. That'd be like me getting advice from Pizzola on how to do my hair. He's always got like
He's
this
so
random.
good. Yeah. Well, I found something out about Beak in the last week, which I guess is cleared public information to Beak Army, I guess as they call themselves.
Rob's the number one on Beak Army.
He is like a notorious, and I guess what makes him be able to put in those hours in the spaces, he is like a notorious sports talk radio like fan.
Caller.
Like his feed, since I started following him, like he posts his calls to like serious shows. And he's still the Beak character. Yeah. I've never even heard him. He drops these one-liners. He doesn't even break character.
No,
ever.
He just hey guys, Beak here, Beak, and then he always has like this the fun. He comes. I cannot get enough of this guy. I just
he's what's keeping you around.
Yeah, but like at some point I'm gonna figure out who he really is, and it's gonna like ruin the allure for me of the. I don't know. Maybe he'll go heel one day. Maybe he'll come all for full circle at some point.
This fight, let's just be clear. This fight, if it actually happens, like it will end with someone fake going into an ambulance.
I could see that happening.
Like this is like no, I mean this, Kirk.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Like
disagree,
it will
but
not
like,
be
I just
like
like the idea that now Elf and Sean Perry are going to see this. We have to scrap that idea.
Yeah. Like it's gonna like chair shots. Like it's going to be so stupid. So I do agree. I'll give Elf this a month. Like build up, talk about it. I don't care. I will watch the stream from the fight.
We're 3 weeks away from a plot twist where Amanda Vance's dad shows up and gives like Sean Perry a chair shot. Or
I can't
like
believe this is I don't know. I can't believe this outsources the arbing that he's so good at.
Mm. Well,
people still like
run
this
out of
stuff,
accounts
by the way.
arbing too, so that contributes.
What?
You run out of accounts when you're arbing very quickly. It's hard to sustain that level of.
He quit his job to be in a Vegas house with Vance and like pretty much Perry.
I know. That's not
and
me.
so for Man of the Library to stop in anytime he wants.
Man of who?
Library.
Okay. Sure, that's what you said the first
I
time?
don't know. I say what I say unapologetically.
You guys are out on this stuff, but people are still in because Sean Ort posted this saying, I have to applaud the Elf show. There are obvious flaws, the main one being that a known scammer is a regular panelist, but the show proves everyone secretly loves reality TV. The audience knows the storylines are fake, but show up for the drama anyway. That's good
Again,
stuff.
an audience, I mean this. You only have so much equity with people, even the ones that really like you.
Yes.
No one likes Elf in the way we like a baseball team because they won a World Series when we were 10 years old. Mm-hmm. Like, there's not like a lifetime of equity that there can be no wrong. It's a show that started 2 months ago. He can only like fuck around with people and ring them and like string them along for a charade so long before individually people
start to
fall
turn.
off
They're
on
like,
their own pace. Yeah. Now listen, there are people who've been in the comments that like months ago were like this thing, like we're probably longer adopters than most, me and you, Rob.
People warned us of this, like months ago. They're like, this is all just garbage, fabricated drama. We're like, nah.
I'll do something for the next show. Nadu.
Nadu.
This could be dangerous for me. I love Nadu. I come in peace, Nadu. Sometimes I don't know what's up with him and what he buys and what he doesn't, because he has these back and forths with Elf. And before I drop the shit about like this is a work, I workshop that to Nadu. But all this, like, if Nadu, sorry, this is where I mean it to Nadu. If Nadu like feels like he did some heroic service by getting Elf in touch with a lawyer when Elf was going to interview this girl that claimed Perry sexually harassed her. Elf is just, Nadu is just a mark because that was fake.
I think Nadu's a mark.
So Nadu, like, and I want to give Nadu too much credit for not being a mark, but he's like, no, like I helped him. I told him he's got to contact a lawyer. Like you told him to contact a lawyer about a work, like a wrestling work.
No,
which means like you're. I
don't think Nadu's in on it.
In the mark territory. And when I told him I think the whole thing's a setup, he was pretty adamant to me that like, no, Elf's like done with Perry. So there. I don't know. I might get a grenade thrown back at me.
Well, you sat up in your chair, which is very unusual. Like
I just find it like straight. Like there are some people.
Yeah.
I think I don't want to say flop. There are some people that think they played the role of like hero to Elf by telling him you need to hit up a lawyer and like talk this through.
Right.
Elf was never doing that show.
You don't think so? You don't think that was going to happen?
I've made that abundantly clear.
I know you've made it clear that you think a lot of it is scripted. So you're at like it's full scripted now.
Rob, they had to get to the point where they wanted to fight.
Yeah.
They needed like a thing.
They're already fighting, weren't they?
You accuse me.
Yeah, let's just escalate.
You accuse me of a heinous sexual assault crime, like a vicious crime.
Yeah.
And then I threatened to sue you. I'm already tied into a lie detector. Like, that show was never happening. Ever.
Okay.
It's hard for me to not just
And when the dumbest guy in the fucking room is 2 steps ahead of the 2 biggest scammers, that's a bad look for the scam.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you.
I'm like, the dumbest guy here should not be able to figure out the scam.
All right. On the Nadeau subject, Nadeau
rules. No, I mean,
no, you don't. We don't have to kiss his ass.
Like,
no.
Fuck
let's
Bosco.
embrace the rivalry. Let's embrace. Fuck Bosco for sure. Yeah.
Nadeau knows. Like, I'm like, fuck Bosco. Bosco would run away. I feel like if Nadeau walked into a room that wasn't like
with this shit. You understand?
If they accidentally ran into each other on the street, Bosco would fucking like disappear.
But Nadeau always finds his way back
because he's the best.
Yeah. Somehow he'll be like, I'm done with this goofy ass shit. He'll talk to me. He's like, Rob, I'm done with this goofy ass shit. They've lost the plot, whatever. A week later, he's back there. He can't help himself.
Yeah.
There's something about these spaces that draw him to it.
Sean's point, I guess, right?
And that's kind of the point. But even me, like, there's part of me that always wonders what's happening. But now, because less people around me are like, I get a notification when Spanky's speaking. So when I get a Spanky speaking notification, I quickly check in to see if he's actually speaking or not. If he is, I hang around and listen. If he's not, I'm out of there. That's it.
Now listen, like obviously Elf is doing more than a couple things right.
Yes.
Like I'm not an idiot. I can take my shots. I cannot agree how he's doing things. He could do things however he wants. He's a 24-year-old. Someone handed him $10K, put him in a Vegas suite. That's like very enticing and alluring. And you know, now he's going back and he's renting an Airbnb. Be young, have fun, do your thing. You go to Vegas, you're supposed to get sick and feel like shit when it's over. But that's all to say, like I'm one of these people, Rob, I'll listen if I'm walking the dog, if I'm outside having a smoke. Anyone that's giving you attention at like 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night, like we've spoken about, they could be watching a game, they could be watching a show, a movie. The greatest shows of all time are all at your fingertips now. Like, so even if you get 1,000 people to like not want to watch that and to listen to you, I give you credit.
Yep.
So I think that's a fair way to close it, even if I think he is like fully transitioned.
Okay.
From hustler to scammer.
I look forward to talking about this again next week.
Hopefully not.
I hope not.
I might walk out next week if we talk about it again.
I'm so sick of this conversation, this one in particular.
Like
God, I
the
just
spaces, or if the shtick is real.
I just miss the days of like
there was
a prominent person on gambling Twitter is coming on tonight, and a bunch of people just get to go.
There was a show last week.
I just miss that.
He did actually had an episode in the last week where it did feel like there were 2 scammers going head to head. Elf wasn't protecting or picking favorites.
Was it King, Cap, and Library?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That felt like, oh, this is a good shit. Like, inject that into me. Mm-hmm. But this, like, vanity Elf's workout project, come on.
All right. We got a couple more topics on the agenda today, but before we get there, it's time for you to level up. Betstamp Pro is dropping the sharpest soccer odds screen on the planet, and Circle Back listeners are getting first access. Global leagues, player props, main markets, game props, real-time edge detection. It's the same intel that's helped pro users crush NFL and NBA, now applied to the world's biggest sport. Now, I've been testing it personally in beta. I co-own the company, but I can tell you it's legit. From EPL corners, Serie A player shots, it's spotting edges where no one's looking. Pros are already scaling globally. The official launch is tomorrow, but today you get priority demos before they fill up. Even if you don't bet on soccer, this is your shot to expand into a liquid year-round market. Unlock early access now. Head over to betstamp.com/circlesoff or scan the QR code on your screen.
We got Ovechkin breaking the all-time NHL goal record over the weekend, 895 goals. Pretty ridiculous. He has the exact same amount of games played as Wayne Gretzky, the person whose record he beat, widely considered to be an unbreakable record. So pretty crazy. First tweet that we have here was from BR Open Ice. It was nice that Ovechkin actually scored like a pretty trademark goal.
Yeah.
And it was a good goal, even though they were down 2-1. To score it wasn't an empty netter, which I kind of thought it had the chance of being, and he did as well. So he's happy that didn't happen. But this is a great photo. Ovechkin on the beach.
King.
Does not look like a professional athlete based off of the photo here, but
That's kind of how
He
hockey
looks like
players
he had
look.
10
a bit.
pints at a
just-
dive bar and went to
yeah.
play beach volleyball.
You know,
The
This
hockey
guy-
players don't have like athletic
I don't know.
bodies
Well,
normally.
so-
Like not like this. Like obviously this is a pretty unique picture, unique angle.
Yeah.
But like hockey players typically aren't shredded. They're like
yeah.
big bodies with
and in
massive
fairness,
legs.
if you're on the beach,
It's
you've
like
had-
quarterbacks, right? They always make fun of like even Mahomes
Yeah.
has a bit of a
A
pun.
belly,
Like,
yeah.
they're
Lunch.
not like shredded. Like,
Yeah. But this is a funny picture.
If you're on the beach, you've had a lot to eat and drink, you can look maybe a little bloated, but yes, he doesn't look like the peak male athlete, I suppose.
I don't-
in this photo. Islanders tweeted when he did score the all-time leading goal in NHL history. They said Washington goal 2-1 #Isles.
It's a great tweet.
I
So
wonder
good.
they had to have like the social media team. I'm trying to think.
They had
about
a
it
meeting
this
They
way.
met beforehand
Right,
for
sure.
sure. Yeah.
How they
that
handle
could
it.
also just be someone's job, like an intern's job is like the
Oh,
goal,
it's just
the
all
score.
amazing.
do it every
Yeah.
goal.
Brilliant.
Any goal.
Yeah.
But like who knows? Either way, planned or natural is fucking perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, great stuff. And then there was obviously Twitter finds everything. Nothing is
does.
ever safe there. At Curtis G. Rush, unfortunately a bad one for Toronto, which is marked as a location of this tweet. From March 13th, 2014, said Gretzky record of 894 career goals, pretty safe. A player would need to average 50 goals for 18 years. Impossible in today's game. That was funny. I think the reply is even funnier. April 5th, 2025, so right as the record was broken, the morning of the record breaking, says, "See, so you rummage through my tweet history like a desperate scavenger and find a tweet from 11 years ago and throw it back at me like I was the only one doubting this record would ever fall. Really? There wasn't like a specific
Cover up is worse than the
person.
crime.
Welcome,
Yeah,
welcome to the
way
internet.
worse.
Welcome to the internet,
Oh
Curtis
my God,
Rush.
just
Bad take
Take
lives
a
on
bow.
forever.
Yeah, take a bow.
Yeah.
You did it. Who cares?
Your take was wrong. Just own it. Don't get mad at people for roasting the
no
bad
one like
take.
yeah.
There was one circulating this past week. It was like Colin Coward from 2018 or 19 about how LeBron James will never have like the longevity that Michael Jordan had. He'll never be playing deep into his career.
Max
Like,
Kellerman
yeah,
had a thing about Brady being done. I think he went to like 5 more Super Bowls.
do you remember
Yeah,
your
the
worst
cliff
take
theory.
ever? Do you like? I'll tell you mine.
I know mine.
Okay, what's yours?
Wemby overrated.
Wemby overrated.
Yeah,
Was your
and
worst take?
Shipper fucking killed me.
Okay, so my worst take ever was that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers would have been better off at the time. I said they'll be better off signing Andy Dalton than Tom Brady. Tom Brady is washed and not a great fit for the offense because his deep ball has gotten worse. I'm like, put Andy Dalton in that offense. He can throw downfield. I will own it. Terrible, terrible take. But I believed it at the time. It exists. You just got to, like, you're not going to have 100% hit rate on your takes.
When it's your turn, when you do something and you get called to the fucking carpet, you just like have to accept your number has been pulled
Yes.
from this fucking lottery machine, and you own it. And this is just the worst. This is so pathetic. No one rummaged through Curtis's history. They searched some keywords.
Yes, exactly.
And they found the gold they were looking for, Curtis. Like, you got God. Someone did something incredible that no one else has ever done. And you just own it and congratulate the fucking guy.
But to Curtis's like original tweet from 2014, this record is insanely impressive.
Insane.
Like this is a record that people never ever thought would fall. Like the Gretzky single season record will never be beaten. Like 215 points. The scoring is down a full goal from when Gretzky played. Like that.
Yeah,
but
goalies take up like half as much space as they used to.
Yeah.
And aren't like charging out of their
listen, they're
crease
not
every
doing
breakaway.
fucking. You're not taking slap shots from the blue line along the ice that the goalie's trying to kick away.
Yeah.
With this.
And everyone else around you has been spending the last like 15 years committed to like fitness and dedication, and you've just sort of charted your own path. Like,
I've been all in on this for months now. I've been
all in on what?
on this Ovechkin like record chase. I love stuff like this in sports. I
Well,
love
it kind of
It's
seemed
awesome. It's
inevitable
amazing.
at some.
Of course, but it's like, what, is it going to happen this year? Is it going to happen next year? Like, is he
It
gonna,
happening this year was awesome.
Ovechkin to me,
He shattered his leg.
yeah. But if you also remember, like, think about Ovechkin's career arc, right? And he was always considered,
Less than Crosby.
but less than Crosby and a
Choker.
choker. That was his thing until they won the cup that one year. Which, by the way, like him fucking getting drunk in like fountains, like
Yeah.
he became so endearing to people. It sounds really weird, and I'm not racist in any way. I'll tell you this right now, but it's very weird for everyone to like collectively love a Russian-born hockey player the way that Ovechkin has been embraced by everyone around the league. Like, nobody thinks of him in terms of, because Canada-Russia was a big thing for a very long time. The world doesn't, he is, to me, one of the most likable personalities in the history of sport. And I'm not even just saying, so like, for me, I've been all in on this, and to see it happen is amazing. I just like, I love the record chases. I just realized how much, like growing up, Geoff, remember the steroid era for us when we were young? I'd wake up every morning, I'm watching Sports Center, Sports Desk, whatever the fuck it was called at that time. And, you see the Sammy Sosa home runs from the night before, Mark McGuire, Bear. Like, those were amazing. That's so fun to root for in sports. It's so good.
That whole take just gave me hope that maybe Austin Matthews will win us a cup and kind of take a similar arc to Ovechkin's career.
Maybe.
They're
You
all
have to have the
fucking
longevity.
losers until they do.
They're all losers until they're not.
Like, Peyton Manning was a loser. Right? We were in. No, I was still in
It's
college
like
when they
in
played
basketball,
the
like
Bears.
Dirk Nowitzki was branded a choker his entire career. Then he won a crazy one with the Dallas Mavericks, and
It's crazy.
does not
Rob,
get that anymore.
Justin Herbert, 0-2 in playoffs. There's people that tell me, like, he's
Huge
guaranteed going to be 0-3. Like, they've already determined the next time they play a game, that guy's a fake because he's 0-2.
Everyone's a choker until they win. That's just pro sports.
Golf is the master of that. Oh, the thing about golf is you get more opportunities to be great than any of the other sports.
Yeah.
Like, there's 4 majors in a year.
Yes.
It's like being great in the divisional round of the playoffs and then being shit in the conference final.
And
you're
you don't
back
need
to being
rely
a
on
choker.
your team. You don't need to rely on your team as well. Like,
More opportunity, but also, you as the individual have
Yeah,
to accomplish it. You have nobody who can
You're
bail
right.
you out.
You're right.
So there's a trade-off there, you know what I mean? But it did spark the Ovechkin thing, one last debate here, because people are discussing if they should rename the Maurice Rocket Richard Trophy, which is the award that goes to the player that scores the most goals in an NHL season. Ovechkin himself has won it 9 times, and now he is the greatest goal scorer ever. At producer Drew Livingston said, Richard only led the NHL in goals 5 times. Time to recognize greatness.
I know,
should we
Drew.
rename the trophy?
Yeah, I know, Drew. Yeah.
Well, so just for starters, I used to work with Drew. I still call him a kid because you work with people who are younger than you, even as they grow up and have their own family.
Yeah.
They're a kid. He's a great producer. He's moved on to do things. He's still just the guy that operated camera 2 to me, though.
Camera 2 Drew. That's how.
So, that being said, I hate this take. I hate it. It's like we're just supposed to always just turn the page on history. I get it. At some point, we might run out of things that are worthy to name players after him, the same way we could run out of numbers to maybe retire. I don't know what. It just seems very, well, like the thought is legitimate. It's such a grotesque thought.
I love this take. I think they should do it. Because you're saying they might run out of things to name stuff after. We're already there. Like, it's only the, like, early on players who stuff is named after. But to me...
You have to respect... Sorry.
But I don't think it's not respectful.
It is.
The Rockets had his time.
He was the first 50-goal scorer, I believe.
He's had his time. It was his award. And nice. That's great for him. But, like, whenever you're
So then it should change again?
I think when
Like when
someone
Austin
does
Matthews eventually breaks Alex Ovechkin's
Yes.
career goal scoring
if
record.
Matthews actually broke it, I think that would be reasonable. Like, if someone has done something so great like this, and it's also such an obvious one of like, he scored the most goals ever. He's the greatest goal scorer ever. Give him the award for goal scoring. I don't think that's like, I think that's awesome.
I honestly cannot believe how polarizing this tweet like became. Because
Where's Gretzky's award?
But I'm so indifferent on.
Yeah, he probably should be like the MVP.
I'm so indifferent on the like. I could honestly care less about the name.
You're
It
right.
affects my life.
And Kirk's,
like if I have to call it the Rocket Richard or the Ovi Award, like it doesn't matter to me.
You're right. It doesn't. But Kirk says what he says, and I can't help but just the first thing that comes to mind is like, of course the basketball guy would say that. Basketball players, they like the past to these, like no sport is disrespecting the past. No sport's like league narrative. I'm not even saying it's fair to the current NBA player, but you just look at the discourse in all the other sports of like eras, or even how Gretzky handled this, and how, you know, like someone's doing something in baseball and every all-time great will just come out and wax poetic about the new guy doing it. And basketball's just got this totally different fucking culture.
Yeah. I don't.
And that's why I don't know. Kirk just
Well,
did.
when
the
LeBron
NBA
broke
Yeah,
the
it's
all-time
the-
scoring record, like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was courtside. They did a presentation during the game, much like the Ovechkin one. But
That all gets overshadowed when it's like
Also, like,
there's an era pissing contest.
There's a lot of people who thought that was like way over the top to do the.
I don't think so.
No, absolutely.
I remember
Dude,
when-
it's a game against the New York Islanders, like late in the regular
I remember
season.
when Gretzky broke it.
Yes.
I was a little boy. It was magical. And I
course.
imagine like there's 8-9-year-old boys who like saw this weekend's event as like truly magical.
People are tuning into the Caps Islanders on Sunday afternoon because they were interested in the hockey. They're interested in the record being broken and what he has to say afterwards and like the whole moment. That's like, how could you say?
Do you know
that?
the Islanders charging $45 to have access to your ticket printable? What a fucking grift.
And that's a joke.
Well, I mean, there's
Because
cappers who charge
you might not
$250
remember
a
this,
month, so-
Jacob, but back in the day, tickets were printable. When you went to something
Okay.
special, the tickets
Yeah,
mattered.
okay.
They're commemorative.
There were printed tickets in like early 2010s. It's not.
I was
like
just
that.
joking, but commemorative tickets,
Yeah.
like you're right.
I have
First
concert
Raptors
NFT
game.
concert tickets, man.
How are
that they
those
just
doing?
sent. Well, I don't know. Like they send as like a token. You guys ever got those before? Like when you go buy a concert, do you buy tickets on Ticketmaster? They send you like a digital like token.
Yeah, they
Yeah, I
might
don't
have.
know. I just scan it at the thing.
No, but I'm talking about like something that you have forever.
Oh
like, as a
no, I'm
proof.
not. I'm not familiar
Did-
with
yeah.
that.
Yeah, no,
I
the
don't
actual
like-
ticket's cool, but I agree. Charging
I agree. There's got to be a way. I don't know what the answer is. Like, of course, Ovi should be honored. Of course, like Brady and Mahomes, like you'd hope could be honored. But
Yeah. Why don't they just call it the Rocket Ovechkin Award?
No.
I don't hate that.
No, that's tack. Because he's the Rocket. That's the nickname for
Yeah,
Maurice
Maurice Richard is the
You're
Rocket.
right.
I just think
first player
that-
to score 50 in a season,
There-
which is very impressive because at the time.
Well, why don't they
seasons-
get an? Why
has
don't they
to be
create an
rev-
award that is first person to score 50 in a season gets the Rocket?
there has
Richard?
to be reverence to the people that laid the foundation for you to then walk through the doors and do what you do. Like
Yeah.
there just has to be
I can agree.
high
I don't
level
hate that.
reverence
People
for
keep wanting
that.
to change the NBA logo as well,
Yeah.
which I think is
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Keep it.
I get
Change it to who?
it. 10
Jordan,
years from now.
LeBron, Kobe, all has been pitched.
10 years from now, when we have the Gambling Twitter Award of the Year, it's going to be the Fienberg. It's not going to be the Nadeau. Fienberg paved the path so that Nadeau could
No,
do his thing.
Nadeau is the trailblazer here.
All right.
Let me put more. I will just put air in Nadeau's tires.
For chopping block this week, let's make sure that the graphic is up on screen, Jacob. That way Matt Zilbert does not.
I actually was about to skip the graphic.
Yes, let's make sure that we do have the graphic up on screen this
graphic
week.
that took me like 10 seconds to make. Anyways, glad you like it, Zil. But yeah, first one from the chopping block. This could have been its own segment, but we threw it in late. But a question was asked by Nuclear Golf at NUCLR Golf. Could you win the Masters starting each hole on the green, but from the furthest spot away from the pin? So just off the rip.
Not enough details are known in this question to answer it fairly. This became popular a couple years ago when someone posed this question on social. If I had to go to Augusta today and putt for the Masters, I would not win the Masters. If I could participate in the week like every other pro, where I have access to the course, I can play it multiple times. I could
Let's say same parameters as the pro.
Then I
and you
feel
get a
like-
caddy to
and I get my
further
caddy.
Yeah,
competition.
if I had a caddy, I think I've got a shot. No caddy, I'm like not
No
making
shot.
The
The
cut.
thing is, Rob, some of them are 80 foot. Like you'd have the first putt would be like an 80-foot putt with the mounds and the swales. And as much as you think you could like smash it up there and lag it to like 25 feet and you catch a wrong spine, like you're just done. And we're like 6-putting. But if you 3.5 it, you'll win the Masters. If you average 3.5
what's
strokes
going to be
a hole,
what's like an average winning score?
So, okay, well, I'll just take last year's winning score. So Scheffler shot 4 under. The par of the Masters was 72.
No, that's
No,
a very low winning score.
yeah, he
though.
did not win at 4 under.
If he did,
That
there
might
was a
have been a
bad
round.
weather day.
Oh, sorry, that was round 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. 4 under.
Sorry, 11 under for the tournament.
Which is roughly, I think, in like the 10 to 15 under range. I usually think of
You
the
shoot
Masters.
3 under each day, you win the Masters.
Yeah, or be in contention.
So if you shot 3.5, you'd shoot.
You dominate.
65.
63. Like
63.
3.5 per hole, you'd shoot a 63.
You would dominate. You would
People will get
dominate.
on me for this take. They will get on me. But if like I said, I could prepare for the tournament like a pro, and I had a caddy, I think I would be favored to win the Masters.
You think you
Yeah,
got
I
the
don't think-
stones
I don't
to
think
make
that's like a
those
crazy
4-footers?
take.
Yeah, you have
You're
3 days,
putting.
if you have 3 days of prep and you can like just prep it to shit and know like where you absolutely can't ride the spines.
I'm very
I'm
good on
still
short
saying-
putts. Like
your 5-footer at home is not this 5-footer, and that's what it would come down
and you'd
to.
be so fucking nervous.
Yeah, there's people watching.
Yeah, you're
I would
competing,
definitely be
you're
nervous.
competing in
I
front
would-
of
that I would
others.
give you.
You're
yes.
like walking with Scotty.
Yeah, no, I
Like,
know.
final
It's like-
day,
like that
you
4-footer
No,
footer
it's
is
like you walk with them the hole, but you don't hit a ball until you get to a green, and then you participate like them.
Yeah. Amazing. God, I would love to. I mean,
So yeah, I guess 3 days of prep and the caddy for
no
the
cat.
prep.
Let's say no caddy. The caddy
I
can
will-
that's
cover.
what I'm saying. There's not enough. No,
Yeah.
I might rather the caddy than the 3 days of prep.
Sure, for me.
Of course.
Like if
But-
I got 3 days
Well,
of practice
the
rounds or a caddy for competition,
no.
I would
the
take
real
the
problem
caddy.
is even with the caddy, there's going to be a ramp. Like, what's the stimp meter at Augusta?
like
13.
That's the thing, Rob. I've played like some of the places you've played. Like I'm sure the slopes can be. Don't yell at me. Similar, like some level similar. The speed is something you've never even comprehended that speed.
Yeah.
I
With
would
a-
say.
But with a caddy who like specifically knows Augusta, you could literally do like 10 practice putting strokes and be like, okay, how about this tempo? How about this tempo? And the caddy would be like, okay, yeah, that one's the tempo. Obviously, it wouldn't be perfect, but again, you're starting on the green.
You're just you gotta.
My answer is very clear. If you insert me there today, I will not be able to do it. If I had prep, any sort of preparation, the more the better. I believe that I would be favored to
If
win
I
the
like,
Masters.
I'd also, Elf is going to entertain his listeners to a month-long training camp. I would enter myself in like month-long like putting camp, We'd get Brad Faxon on the horn.
Oh, yeah.
And we are just like,
Yep.
we are just nonstop breakers, grinders, 60-footers.
Love that.
Like
Oh,
the
yeah.
whole
Everything. Yep.
training camp.
Love it.
I think I'd buckle because I think I'd miss too many 4-footers.
That's what
I
was
truly
gonna
Yeah,
say.
but
think
if you
I-
smoke enough weed beforehand, you're not going to feel the nerves.
No, I don't. I don't trust myself at home on 5-footers. I couldn't trust myself there.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to for
Because
me.
I think like on most greens, I'm just guessing here, you're probably putting like your first putt 80 to 100 feet. Does that sound about right to you? On like furthest distance from the hole? If that's
80, yeah.
if you can, let's say if you have like an 80-foot putt, you can lag it up to 20 feet. You're in pretty good shape.
But the
man.
lag is just like a smash. Then that 20-footer, you have to.
But the 20
find
footer
the-
doesn't matter. All you got to do is get it.
You know, the difference between 2 and 5 feet is actually huge, though, I think.
Yeah.
So you actually have to be very good at having the right speed and line on the 20-footer, or you're going to have
Jeff,
8-footers.
The 2 to 5 feet does make a difference. But your 5-footer is for birdie. Like you know what I'm saying?
I have to make 3, and I have to grab some birdies, though.
Like you're going to start on a par 5. You haven't taken a shot and you're on the green, dude. Like you might eagle that hole.
Yeah.
Eagle.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I don't think you will, but
you're probably favored to birdie on that hole, to 4
yeah, to 4-putt.
To,
Yeah.
to eagle would not be egregious.
If
A
you
3-putt from
4-putt
80
everything,
feet-
you're shooting, what, 72, we said, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to be a bit under for.
You're making the cut. That's about it.
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be very interesting to try.
The next one up here, Rob's got to give more backstory on this one, but Rob tweeted, throwback to 3 years ago today, GRP wins on the front lines, ensuring Bet Bash's food was fit for consumption, doing the people's work. Spanky has never eaten a hot dog since this day. It's a bunch of photos of George kind of scanning through the spread of food at Bet Bash. This is 3 years ago, Rob. Give us the full scoop.
So people have to remember this was before like GRP was a thing on gambling Twitter, right? I met GRP at the first Bet Bash in New Jersey. I only spoke to him for about 2 minutes. He tried to invade a conversation I was having with Alan Dinkinson, Dinky, rest in peace. And Dinky told him to fuck off. He's like, get out of here. Like, he didn't want to talk to him.
Because he knew who he was, or he just didn't want to be
He
bothered?
was just, frankly, like we were having a conversation, and then like George tried to insert himself, and you just
Probably
didn't-
in a very George way.
Yeah, I was. So, anyways, the next year, I was at the back of the room where you can clearly see I was taking this picture. I can't remember what the talk was that was happening on this day, but like something weird was just happening. Like I don't know what compelled me to take these pictures, other than that I saw this guy walking around and just like randomly looking at things. Like I'm like, I gotta capture this, and I forgot that these pictures even existed until this week, where I was trying to like back up something on my phone. I didn't have enough Google Drive space or whatever. So I'm like, I got to clear out old pictures. So I'm going through old pictures. I uncovered this one. But yeah, this was right before. I wish I had the next pictures, which were real fats, wheeled up there and got security to escort George out. It was amazing.
Do you know what the video of that would be like worth today?
I know.
To like the part of the internet I love, how much I'd love to see George with security. Rob, you were just taken aback by the hair, the gel, like his whole aura is up. He's up to something here.
He was definitely asking questions about, like, is this all the food that's here? Because
Is
he
he
tweeted
like
afterwards that Spanky serving people hot dogs at Bet Bash. Like, what? By the way, this picture on the right to George's left, is Derek Stevens,
I
owner
caught
of
that.
Circa.
And the one in the middle, you could see the back of Derek.
Yes. And I believe green shirt on the left there is Captain Jack in the background there as well. But I don't know, man. I don't know. So I found this a couple of weeks ago, and I scheduled it for the 3-year anniversary because I'm like, it'll be.
So this was Bet
Good
Bash
to know
2.
George
Bet Bash
hasn't changed.
And George says, though, because I heard him speaking about it. He said he went to Bet Bash 1. He paid for it. They moved it to Vegas, and he just wanted to see where he still flew to
Snuck
Vegas.
in.
But he just wanted to see what
Yeah.
it was about.
This was at the ballroom at the D, I remember. But
But George, yeah, he's just inspecting the food situation.
you seen what's going on there? He was in there for about 2 minutes. Honestly, it happened in like 2 minutes, and then he was escorted out by security.
But how did the other guy know he didn't have a ticket?
Fats? I don't know.
Look, you could see in this story for Zapruder filming this, you could see in all the pictures Fats' empty wheelchair.
Yeah, his wheelchair's there. He's probably getting security at this time. It happened so quick. You don't really understand. Like, I was at the back of the room for this entire thing. It happened so fast. Anyways, great.
So they kicked him out because he didn't have a ticket?
Yeah, he snuck in.
Snuck in.
He
Snuck
wasn't
past
allowed to be
security.
there.
He wasn't supposed to be there.
Right.
So what do they? I'm sure they give you what, like a lanyard or a bracelet or something, right?
I don't remember that year, but yeah, maybe both even that year. Yeah.
Next up on the chopping block, we've got another classic from a Pizzola here. This is Prop Geek Zeke, who had an opening day play number 4. Zach Wheeler, under 6.5 strikeouts, -115. Needed 199 likes for the final play. And then Bonesaw at Evie Bonesaw posted the real odds at the time of this -115 play. And it was -158 at FanDuel, where it opened at that number, -155 on DraftKings, -160 on BetOnline, where it opened at -154. Had not been below -120 since March 24th on one book. Join the Dub Club guide with a bunch of fire emojis. So yeah, it's like, if you're finding something in the range of 110-ish, like how far do we extend that, I guess? But this is a classic. Like I
am like so sick of the guys that just post fake numbers on Twitter. Even if he bet it at that price, which I guess is possible if he did bet it before that date, there becomes a point where it's just like, now you just stop advertising that price, I see this literally every single day.
Literally. This is just the classic.
But no one who actually bets. Like, if you're an actual bettor and you follow this guy, like, you just...
My real question is...
You just know he's full of shit. Even if he may have, like, at some point had you fooled, this almost, like, pulls the curtain back, be like, this guy's a fucking...
It does for us, but it doesn't for most people.
They just think that...
They just want to be on... People
Don't
just...
play it at those numbers.
I get it.
When I was running Prediction Machine for that 1 year... the releases on certain pick sets would move the market. As soon as it was put out for the week, the biggest edges would get bet. And there used to be emails every single day. It was part of the pain points of like running a type of service like that. But it was like, yesterday it was showing that this -3 was an edge, and now it's not showing as an edge anymore. And you're like, well, yeah, it's not -3 anymore. It's -4.5. And they're like, yeah, well, like I paid. Like people just don't get it, man. It's like,
I don't think, but also I know this is like crazy to someone from your perspective and how you bet, because I know this firsthand. Like, I have a lot of friends who have this exact thought. If you gave out a game or something, right, and you gave me play out of play, like, was Pizzola like, well, I know he was on this big time. It was like -125. Now it's -150.
Yeah.
They still want it.
Yes. Agreed.
They still want it, even though, like, you're like, that's like not even close to the bet I made. It's not even close. They're like, nope, Rob knows or Chernoff knows. I didn't mean to group. I just said, like, I trust. I'd rather eat a quarter and get their decision than make my own call.
I have a friend who doesn't do this anymore, thankfully, but every single day he would message me, who do you like in hockey tonight? And it's just a friend. He's not going to move the market.
I did this to you all the time too myself.
But
I would say, Rob, I don't care. Just give me.
Yeah, you do that. Game. You're right. But
not so much anymore. But like a couple of years ago, be like, I don't care if I lost 15 cents, Rob. Tell me what you got.
Right.
Slow me what you got.
You would send, who do you like in hockey? I put like nothing right now. And the next response is always like, well, what did you bet?
Yeah, well, that's...
Yeah. And I'm like, well, I don't even want to tell you because now you're going to go bet it. But that's just the way, like, this stuff happens you will find one of these every single day on gambling Twitter of just prices that don't exist. And to most people, it should be a red flag. To you watching or listening, it should be a red flag. Sadly, to most people, it isn't a red flag.
Well, the mindset for these people is that if you're buying picks from somebody like this, you believe
exactly
that they're picking winners. They're not
Yeah.
You
They
just
don't
want-
understand
yeah.
the
You
market.
don't
They
care
believe
about
they're
the
picking
price.
winners.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what the juice is. It's whether or not this pick wins or loses.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter what
Rob,
the juice
I had a
is.
buddy once say to me, like it was a 3.5, and now he could have it at 3 plus. He's like, yeah, but if I push on 3 and you win, like I'll be okay.
Well,
Do you know? It was like I just want to like. I know the half point was crucial, but like if it lands on 3, I can't lose on this suggestion.
the real
And that is, I mean, you could tell me the value of that half point. It's probably enormous, but
Well, the real thing with all the picks, like if you're really boiling it down to, and then we'll move on to the next topic here, is the reality is if somebody has released a pick and it's now moved and you're getting a worse price, it's probably not good. However, if someone has released a pick and it's still there at the exact same price, it's also still probably not good.
Yes.
Like that, this is what the real scenario where you're getting good value as a pick buyer would be the rare instances where someone releases a pick, you bet it at that number, and it
And then it
moves
moves,
afterwards. That's the scenario that works for pick buyers. The rest don't.
Yes.
And it's as simple as that.
Next one here is from @SportsRage, who said, "I bet so much on corner kick props. I bought a seat to see the line.
Love it.
It's a photo from the stadium, sitting relatively close to the corner flag at a soccer game.
I think he's in Vancouver, so I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
it
this
does
is a
look like
It's a Whitecaps game.
Whitecaps game.
Yeah.
I know
Gabe's
Gabe.
the best.
Yeah, we used to work with Gabe, so I know
he's
that-
as authentic as it comes. Like, sure, we can make the case that just sit like, don't you want to sit closer to midfield? You'd have both if a good angle.
Yeah, it's not going to change the.
On both
That's
of them.
one of the 4 corners.
But like he is as authentic a sports gambling content creator as I've ever interacted with. He's a hoot. This
I can-
made me laugh so hard. Though.
I can say though with certainty, I've never purchased tickets at a game based off of the bets I'm going to have on that game. There'll be times I will
How
say.
could you?
That's
like,
what I'm
what are you
saying.
supposed to do?
Like I'm sitting right behind the net because I bet on shots on goal
Yeah.
props. I bet this goalie saves.
then there's the other side.
That's what I'm saying. That's like it's actually really absurd.
Like I like the end.
What about the
It's a
other
really
players
good
on the
bet.
other side? The line on the other side of the field.
I save because in football, like the cheaper seats are the end zone, like
Yeah.
behind. Got a lot of big field goal props. And
Yeah,
I'm going
exactly.
behind the poles.
Yeah.
what?
No, well, he could have like first half team corners.
He
and
might
just
have.
that.
No, I loved like it is so.
I'm gonna start betting games based off of my seats.
Where the
I think
seats are.
that's the new hidden edge in sports. You know, like if you are sitting behind the net in a hockey game and you know the goalie's going to be in that net for 2 out of the 3 periods, you bet their save prop because you're going to see it up close. That's the hidden edge.
Or I just bet the period lines based on who scored, like the in front. I bet the overs or unders just specifically for the period of the zone that I'm in.
Yes.
You don't even have to put your head on a swivel. Just
You're just
keep
focusing
it.
on the
you
one
can
net.
keep it there. Gabe's the freaking best.
Next one up here. We'll see if Kirk sides with the books once again on this one. But @joke _, my cousin just tried to make a Bet365 account before he could even deposit. His account was closed immediately. They told him our trading department reviews customer accounts upon creation and sometimes conclude that they do not wish to accept a customer's business. Your account has been closed as a trading decision. So, question is, should sportsbooks be able to turn down business before a bet is even placed?
Well, so the problem with a lot of these tweets that you get about sportsbooks doing quote unquote shady things, you often don't get the full story. So, I mean, listen, if Bet365 had no information on this guy and closed his account, that would be rather unusual. There's something more to the story. Like, go ahead.
So there's a 99.9% chance that this person's cousin was just opening an account for him and they fucked up on the IP or the Wi-Fi or the device and something got triggered on Bet365. The 0.1% chance, which there has been some rumblings of sportsbooks trading information, if they're doing that, that is like not allowed and like I'm pretty sure illegal and would be like a massive breach of privacy and would be a humongous problem and not allowed. But that's like a 0.01% chance. by far the most likely is that this was opening to be a beard account and it got flagged.
Well, Bet365 doesn't share their trading software with anyone else. From my,
I'm not saying software. I'm saying like personal information.
Yes, agreed. That's like a no-no.
Or even like payment information.
Yeah, like that's obviously a massive no-no.
Yeah. Exactly. Could
have been
same.
like some sort of payment that was
you're
similar.
saying, yes. On Bet365 that someone else used. Yes.
That
I mean,
triggered
it's very
that.
to
Because
sure.
I'll have to say, I tried to make myself, with help, another 365 account, and essentially it worked for like a minute, and then this happened.
Yeah.
But I am siding with the sportsbook if this guy, like you said, used the same debit card, to try getting money into an account, or something like that. Like that is, yes, the account 365 is obviously gonna auto ban you, and that makes sense.
In the off chance that this is like completely kosher and his cousin like doesn't bet and just created an account in the early, like that is ridiculous.
Yes. Yeah.
But I would say, to Kirk's point, I would believe there's usually more to these stories than people tend to lead on.
Last one for the show this week. It was Parlay Lab who started off this conversation by saying, imagine making nearly $3,000 in a single day betting on sports. That's what's possible once you master live arb betting with OddsJam. Live arbitrage betting is a skill that takes practice, but once you learn and become efficient, the possibilities are endless. And then the argument back from analytical betting at analyticalbets_. Live arb betting requires you to sit at a screen and make bets that a software picks out for you, put numbers in a calculator, and place 2 bets to get a small profit because you can't win at actual betting. People referring to it as a skill will never not be hilarious to me. So is live arb betting a skill?
Like,
Okay.
Like, I have a buddy who like was amazing at like he had like ground floor technology on like ticket bots, right? Like this like 10, 15 years ago, like crushed it.
Yep.
He crushed it. There was like a skill, like he was home all day.
Yes.
He'd be playing video games, the horn would go off, he'd run to the computer, he'd crush it. Like he'd have to have a great setup. But like, I don't know, did it take, like, once it was set up, was there skill? Like, no, but he crushed it. So I don't, is it kind of the same thing?
Well,
Similar.
yeah, I would. So for me, like, most bettors lose. Vast majority of bettors lose. If you could find a way to make $3,000 a day, risk-free, betting on sports, I think there's skill in that.
I
Whether
agree.
you're using a software, you're doing it yourself, and not all arbors are created equal either. There's ones that are much better than others. And like, to me, that also dictates like levels of skill. But listen, I do find it, I understand what analytical betting is saying. Like, people who are arb, there's probably a much better way that they can effectively put their bankroll into play for long run.
Risk-free.
But most people
Rolls right
lose.
over, yeah.
Most people lose, and you're going to mock a guy for winning. However he's doing it, I think there's some...
Winning, taking no risk.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's commendable, figuring out how to work it. It's not easy. You get kicked off of books. Like, finding a way, maintaining your $3K a day does take a level of, like, effort and work.
It's actual betting. It's just another style of betting. I don't arb because I think that there's better ways to put your bankroll to use than to arb. But this person is winning. I mean, to me, there's skill involved in that.
Yeah, like I would agree that, if you just pay for OddsJam and sit there, like the skill is like not huge, but you've been skillful enough to find out that this is a way to win. And it is a skill to be able to like grind. That's a skill. But also there definitely, once you scale it up, I'm sure there are people that have their own software that finds arbs more efficiently, maybe in different ways. That is absolutely a skill. I get what he's saying, but like,
well,
it's obviously there is some baseline skill.
It's maybe more resourceful than it is skillful, but it's really hard for me to shit on people in an industry where mostly everyone loses that have actually found a way to win. Like, sure, I mean, again, like it's very risk averse, but some people are in that position where they can't risk money. And there's people that I could go to that are friends of mine that are losing bettors, and I could show them how to arb, and they still wouldn't do it.
Yeah, they'd rather just bet their shit.
So to me, it is somewhat skillful. I don't think but to overcome the barrier of actually winning in sports, I think there is some skill involved in that at the end of the day.
Agreed.
But I totally agree that there's a large portion of betting community that like, buddy, you're trying to like risk free a few bucks. Like I'm happy to take a few risks and make my single game parlay to
Yeah.
win 1,200.
Exactly.
Right?
Well,
Agreed.
that's it. That's going to do it for this week's episode of Circle Back. If you enjoyed the episode, smash that like button down below. Again, if you're not subbed here to the Circles Off channel, which about half of you watching today are not subbed, make sure you do subscribe here. We're going to that 20K barrier. Want to get over that? It's just a little milestone. Be nice. Be nice to do that. So if you can hit that subscribe button, and of course, leave us comments. Those go a long way as well. We are back later this week with the B crew. The B crew. Nadu, Kanish, and Flup. And then
Our
we're back.
rivals.
Our rivals.
No rivalry. I come in peace.
Well, Geoff has had a lot of bad
And,
things
like,
about Nadu today. So
no, we're good. No, we're good for like. We should be a shining light for Canadian-U.S. relations.
there we go. 100%.
They're trying to make this into something. I don't
We're
want
coming.
it.
We're coming into space that already exists. We want to establish ourselves. We gotta
Jacob's
come
on
out
both.
firing.
There you go. There you
Like
go.
Jacob said, he could take just credit for the good of both and like not have to wear the bad of either. So Jacob's a big one.
I
here,
get bad
think.
on both. So
Yeah, you also get some good on
do-
both,
I do
Jacob.
get-
They
yeah.
called you the star of the. Someone in the comments called you the star of the show last
Yeah.
week.
Star
which,
of the network.
I mean,
Like I
I think
said,
that might have been your dad writing that comment or something.
like
but I don't-
like I said, I get both ends of it.
all right,
Yeah.
that's it. Circle back. Peace out.